Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. LightsThunderAction, LOKI Special 4, featuring She Will Rock You podcast will be on just after these, songs, man.
Walking down the street, chickens blowing kisses. Never thought I'd end up 28 without a missus. Yet here we are, yeah, it's totally a thing. Making this movie about my life in quarantine. Started out hype, living life as a pirate. Then it got eclectic as time began to riot. Filmed my thoughts, what a terrible idea. Had a party over Zoom and got diarrhea. Ran out of toilet paper, life felt like forfeit. Turn on the news, an invasion of hornets. That's when it really truly started to unravel. I truly wish I could go motherfracking travel like toilet paper Jesus. Toilet paper Jesus. Toilet paper Jesus. Toilet paper Jesus. I wanna be a vagabond, maybe I'm a Cylon. I should have killed them hornets with a motherfracking mask on. Covered in ketchup, man, I think I messed up. Need a therapist that will help me fill my loving cup. No, not with beer, they really need to steer this conversation with myself a light year away from fear that need to poop and seize us. Sorry socks, it don't please us. Holy fracking crap, is that toilet paper Jesus? Toilet paper Jesus. 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 Toilet paper Jesus.
Tommy Torettic. See, I don't like doing this, but I'm gonna teach you a little bit about the world. Yeah. Let's go.
Welcome to the shop of Anonymous. I swear I don't want anything to do with this, I promise this. You hear me screaming from the top, I'm dropping knowledge. The barrel's too far gone for a rookie, so I'm calling this. Game over for you, trumps the grind is all I know and do. Breathing fire like a dragon's or green power coming through. Yeah, I'm working 3 jobs so that I can frack that crew. The money you dummy in front of no honey, can take that love from me. Going to the future and never coming back. Marty McFly, now more like his dad. Trying to be calm, all this news is just whack. Propaganda flying, so know everybody mad. Empathy is gone, so we all for attack. If you disagree, you're just stupid and sad. Use intolerance, so must be smoking crack. Ignorance is bliss, y'all, just to die, yeah. 2 sides of the same coin, killer. Why we ever stop living up for pillars? Acting like everything in life must be a thriller. We're living in a world written by Frank Miller. Cause the dark nights return, so now we turn. See our heroes messed up and now we spurn them because it pisses us off and now we burn their careers alive to the ground. Cause we yearn to be in that position so that we earn millions and millions and millions. But then we turn into the very thing we hate. Now we revert and we refer to the lines that we rehearse. Spread love and forgiveness only to sink deeper. What did we learn? Distract myself from the world. Why the earth, fire, air, swirl. Bend it to your will, then hurl. Flying buffalo, why don't you give it a whirl? Grab a saber, then just twirl. Force cut a pear, give her a pearl. Power unleashes a churl. Join the dark side with me. Guess it's time I get back to work. Captain of my own enterprise, call me Kirk. Anger and depression always seem to lurk. Round every corner, so I write this just a perk. Everybody moved up, cause we screwed up. Living in a country where we shoot up. Anybody disagree, just to move up the food chain where you grew up. Otherwise they beat you down cause you used up. Time to boot up, new mindset program. Think you knew us, but you shoe us. You only care about us to subdue us, just to screw us. Living in a country full of Judas. Stab you in the back, USA or Brutus. Call them Lucius, bringing out the dark night. Now we tuned up, time to scoop up any positivity. While the masses all have clueless, they can only catch your speed. Mr. New One's opportunist, leave them naked in the ground, talking ruthless. I am ruthless, visions full of kid grown ghoulish, broken ruthless, spitting proverbs like Confucius. Call me Tommy Torettic or Nostradamus.
Who this? Who this?
do this, do this, do this.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, July 1st, 2021. Welcome to Loki Special, Episode 4 of Lights, Thunder, Action, where every week two Thunder Buddies discuss all things Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and the latest happenings in the entertainment industry. I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
My name's David Thompson, and coming up on today's show, we are discussing Loki, Episode 4, the Nexus event. Cannot wait to dive into this one. I absolutely love this episode. Only 2 more weeks of Loki after this one. It's coming to an end, ladies and gentlemen, but we are joined by 2 very special guests today that we will get to in just one moment. But before then, Thomas, what do you have for me?
We live stream everywhere. We're everywhere on the Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. You can find all of those links at Linktr.com/LightsThunderAction, all one word, no hyphens, no spaces. And of course, we wouldn't be here without the HWWSWebTV network, which we are carried on their networks, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube as well. Our YouTube does not carry us. I realize that I didn't specify that. Probably should have. But if you don't want to see our ugly mugs 2 times a week now, then David, where can they hear our beautiful voices?
Yeah, you guys can find our audio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, our hosting site Spreaker, among with a lot of other podcasting, I guess, apps and websites. Please let me know if you cannot find us on whatever app you use. But yeah, you should be able to find us there. Please, if you're feeling generous, follow, subscribe, keep up with it. You know, if you're going for a jog, driving your car, can't watch us live, can't watch the video version, the audio podcast is there for you. It has our full catalog of interviews and just live shows and specials like today with Loki. So yes, please, if you're feeling generous, also give a little 5-star, leave us a review. We appreciate all of those good things.
So you were mentioning about we're hosted everywhere. I wanted to give a shout out to Greg Zimmer off Twitter at GRZimmer14. He let us know that he couldn't find us. Then he found us, and we're on Podcast Addict. So, hey, if you're addicted to podcasts the same way we're addicted to Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and movies in general, then, hey, aren't we there for you? But, hey, hey, guys, you're not here for us. No, you're here for our very special guests. So, without further ado, beaming in from Virginia, y'all. They are the co-hosts of the She Will Rock You podcast, where they are out to prove that rock and roll, much like Loki, can never die. That is Leah and Bethanne. There it is.
I want to be introduced like that every fucking time. Sorry, I don't know if I can curse. I'm just going to assume I can.
You can.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. That was an amazing intro.
We're going to rip
you.
that as our new show intro. Just
I'm blushing. Welcome to the show. I'm a big fan of your podcast.
thank you.
I also love rock and roll. So if the hair and Hawaiian vibes didn't give it away or anything,
It was an educated guess for sure.
yeah, it's a vibe. How are y'all? Welcome to the show, all the way from Virginia.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah, thank
Well,
you so
I'm
much for
doing
being
good. I'm
here.
assuming Leah's good too.
Well, other than my cat trying to destroy my blinds while we're streaming, I'm doing good.
Ooh,
Oh yeah.
that's fun. That's
So
very fun.
The We Will Rock You podcast. I want to hear about it. How did it all begin? Kind of what is it about? What can our listeners what do you want to tell our listeners so they will go out and listen to it as well?
I guess the short version of the origin story is we used to work together at a marketing agency, and we got in trouble all the time for talking to each other, to the point where they literally separated our desks like kindergartners. And so we were like, maybe we should channel this energy into a podcast, because that's what millennials do when they like to talk. And
Very true.
We're hanging with our friend Lauren one night, and she was like, I got an alert on Facebook for a Fleetwood Mac cover band that was coming nearby. And I said, hey, Bethanne, we should go see Rumors. They're a Fleetwood Mac cover band. And Lauren goes, who's Fleetwood Mac? And we just looked at her like, what do you mean, who's Fleetwood Mac? And so we were like, well, there's our podcast topic. We both like rock music. We both like researching history on things, and clearly people our age don't know who Fleetwood Mac is. So
which is a problem.
We took that personally.
Thank you.
And
doing the Lord's work.
Someone's got to do it.
Each episode focuses on a different band or artist and just telling their story and why they're important. And then we sprinkle in some artist interviews as well with newer rock acts and just badass women in the music industry. We have a PR CEO coming up, a music photographer, so it's not just artists, it's just badass ladies doing cool things in the music industry.
Wow,
yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's a pretty sweet interview. So is it it's like narrative style, like scripted, or how does kind of the show go?
Yeah, our episodes are definitely more on the scripted side, or it's more just an outline of artist's life and music. Our interviews are obviously more interview, and we like to have more conversation based. But the main episodes you're going to listen to about past artists is going to be more narrative scripted, or at least more outlined with little jests between me and Leah as we talk.
We do go way off topic sometimes.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
But there's definitely a lot of reaction to it, which is fun. You have a scripted side of it, and then the other person hearing it for the first time going, oh shit. So it's good to have both.
Yeah.
We usually go in, I don't want to say blind, but with very limited knowledge of the one that the other person's covering. And so it's like learning in real time.
Oh, okay. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, we take
That's
turns.
like-
I present one episode, and then she presents one episode. So
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's basically like every time David reads the news to me.
yeah.
Yeah, basically. And they post what? Every week? Every 2 weeks?
Every 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought I saw. Awesome. Very cool. Thomas, what'd you have to say?
So,
sorry.
if She Will Rock You were a band, A, what type of music would you play? And B, would you keep the name?
I'm laughing because me and Leah's music interests are so on different spectrums.
Yes.
So it would probably be the most Taylor Swift metal bands that you've ever heard. Like
we could meet in the middle with like pop punk.
What, like a Blink 182 situation?
No, like a Paramore situation.
Like a Paramore set, maybe.
I've seen
Maybe
them
that's
live.
where our interests align.
Really?
That's
awesome.
where they lie.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
We would keep the name though.
That's what I thought. It's too good of a name to not keep.
Really great name. Great name.
There's actually a all-female Queen cover band in the UK called She Will Rock You.
But they don't need to know.
I did notice that pop up, and I was like, I wonder. I wonder if they'll keep the name based on the copyright. Oh, so they stole from you.
We looked it up. We couldn't find anything 2 years ago. So
we have the domain, so
That's
we'll let that solve itself out.
Lawyered. All right. So from each of you, what is your top 3 fandoms?
Ooh.
And it can be like broad. So like if I went really broad, I'd say nerd shit, sports shit, math.
It's so broad.
That's so broad.
Okay.
I know, but I figured I'd make it easier so you don't go too deep.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, mine's pretty obvious if you're looking behind me. It's Star Wars, like a BB-8 back here and R2-D2 ears, and I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt, and I have a Star Wars tattoo. So that's
Me
one.
too. Sith tattoo.
Nice.
Ooh.
I have a
Next to my
Jedi,
heart.
or I have a Rebel tattoo.
Wow, juxtaposed.
Rebel scum.
And then The
yes.
Struts is my favorite band, so we'll go with that because they're also on this wall. And then Marvel
Okay.
Appropriate for this show.
or Taylor Swift.
I think I'm not going to count music because I don't think that's fair, but I would definitely say I'm going to say the Disney conglomerate media. Unfortunately,
That's
Okay.
nice and
Much-
broad.
well, it is because it's Star Wars, it's animation, it's Pixar, it's Marvel.
Hmm.
I love the properties that they have acquired. They've acquired smartly. And then it would probably be, I like space in general as a topic, like astronomy, because I just think it's absolutely fascinating to learn about different galaxies and how teeny tiny we actually are.
Yeah.
And then the third one would probably be, I'm a big fan of online cooking shows, like Binging with Babish and Maddie Matheson. These guys who are really fucking funny, and they're cooking a chicken sandwich at the same time. I think both those worlds, the dichotomies are incredible.
Yeah.
You know, I have thought of doing my own Thor cooking show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh, that'd be great.
You can only cook with electricity, though, so it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works out because oh, it means I can't grill though. Damn,
Oh,
propane.
No grilling.
no.
That's a bummer. So you said Disney conglomerate. Have you seen the Mysterious Benedict Society yet?
No. Tell me
Recommend.
about that.
I will at the end of the show because that's my weekly recommendation
Okay.
for the world because I'm so hooked. It's so weird. I love it. What is your spirit animal?
A raccoon.
Oh, sweet
Okay.
rabbit.
It's got to be a dog who was a cat in a past life, which I happen to have one of those. So I feel very spiritually akin to this dog. But that would be me. It's a dog, happy on the inside, but it also is a cat and is strategizing.
Yes. So a dachshund.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those little German shits I love.
I love
All right. David, are you ready for our favorite question in the entire world?
This is a great unoriginal question, but I love it.
So unoriginal, 100% stolen from our job that we met at when I hired him. If you were a piece of gym equipment, what would you be and why?
I remember my answer to it.
I remember my answer too.
You go first, Leah.
I'd probably be like a spin bike, like a Peloton, because that's my current obsession. And I like a good sweaty cardio workout. Like if I'm not dripping sweat, I don't feel like I've worked out. So
That is fair. I feel
Good.
that too.
Good answer. You're
I would
hired.
I would be a dumbbell for obvious reasons. Just kidding. But in all seriousness, it probably would be a dumbbell because it's very versatile. You can work out your chest. You can work out your triceps and biceps. You can do a back exercise with it.
Yep.
Like there's just multiple layers. And you can set it to different weights. It's just, it's the Google, if you will, of the workout world.
Right.
That is literally the best metaphor for a dumbbell I have ever heard. And we worked at a gym and I was there for 7 years, and that is the best.
Yeah.
We went to a tech school and it was not very techy. Wow. There's no way that we can follow it up. David, have you watched anything lately? We want to skip that? Let's skip that. It's a long show.
Yeah. Nothing much lately.
Before we hop into the main topic, we got bills to pay, folks. As you know, The Suncoast Fan Fest is going to be coming up September 24th through the 26th. So all you got to do is go to suncoastfanfest.com and enter Hangin21 for 10% off your tickets. Again, Hangin, HANGIN 21. Whew, made it. And that'll get you 10% off at the door. If you like art, which hard segue, you can buy this awesome Star Wars thing at marcymoonart.com. She's the Hela to my Thor. We're not related, but in any way, but she is Hela. It works perfectly. Boba Fett and Thor can be bought with jbowerartshop.com. And if you wanted to learn a little bit more about jbowerartshop.com, boy, ladies and gents, you know what's coming. It was an aggressive segue. J Bauer Art has the graphic design skills you need to develop your next logo and at an affordable price. But he's not just a one-trick pony. Follow J Bauer Art on social media to interact during live paintings and see all of his previous artwork, which you can buy exclusively at jbowerartshop.com. Not only is he an artist, this beautiful son of a blue brings you the Back Talk with Bauer podcast every week with unique guests. And every month he hosts a special Back Talk with Friends episode that can only be described as chaotic and hilarious. Need a video intro or commercial? J Bauer Art has you covered. For all of this and more, follow J Bauer Art on social media. That's JBAUERART. Check out jbowerart.com for a full portfolio and jbowerartshop.com to buy that special painting for you and your loved ones.
I'm GW Pomacher.
I'm Dina Marie.
I'm Sage Ia.
I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
Hey, I'm David Thompson.
Hi, I'm Kevin.
And I'm Mia.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey there, this is Dave Adams.
Hi, I'm Rosemary Rose.
Jerome Conner here.
Hey guys, it's Josh Bauer.
It's Willow Schuyler.
I'm Cosplay Michael.
I'm Alva.
It's your boy Country.
I'm Ryan Permison.
And I'd like to ask you guys,
please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
Please
subscribe.
Subscribe.
Please subscribe to HWWS
WebTV.
Great bunch of people.
And don't forget to smash the bell.
Ring that bell.
Smash that bell.
Hit that bell.
Hit the bell to be notified.
Hit the bell to get notified of new shows
and videos.
You're going to want to do that, so do that soon.
So we can cross that 20,000 mark.
And get us to 100,000 subscribers.
To 1 million and 10 million and 100 million.
On HWWS.
WebTV.
You really like it. I guarantee it.
Thank you.
A small town coroner has to team up with her ex-fiancé to save her town from a swarm of mutant honeybees. There's action, drama, humor, maybe even a flamethrower or two. There's definitely a ton of bad bee puns and a very unlikely wearing Hawaiian wearing hero, dude. This classic sci-fi feature cheese fest, written and directed by Elise Marie and starring local talent from the Emerald Coast, invites you to join our journey from conception to reception by visiting Linktree.com/zombies the movie to keep up with all the buzz and donate to GoFundMe. Again, Linktree.com/zombies the movie, ZOMBEEZ the movie. And we're back, David.
I want to point something out quickly.
You did.
Terry in the comments earlier saying, "We're off topic." That never happens on this show. Which, if anyone knows that happens to, it is Terry, because Terry watches every single one of our shows, and he knows how incredibly off topic and down 17 different rabbit holes we can get, and we surely will as well today.
I haven't even put my predictions in there. I want to point out that Swordsman12Z says, "I am the gym equipment."
That's my
okay,
husband.
bro. That's
That's why I love.
Who's watching
Fire.
from the other room?
That is fantastic. Yes,
Thomas.
had to.
Oh
David.
my God. Get it out of the screen.
What was that?
He was flexing.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
David, yes. Are we ready to dive into a very simple episode of Loki?
Yeah, super simple, super short,
simple.
Tight plot you wrote up here, Thomas.
Very tight.
It's really short. It's like 2 pages, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to hear you ramble through this. Honestly, I'm maybe excited for this than the actual episode. So whenever you're ready, I can't wait.
That's not a lot of hype at all, David. Thanks for that pressure. Asgard. We open on Asgard. Hunter Renslayer, I passed, I guess, is kidnapping young Sylvie, who looks like someone I know, which is just sad and creepy. And she gets out of it by pretty much just, I guess, outsmarting Renslayer. She's not very smart.
Okay, quickly.
And then I got to say, Sylvie is clearly the superior Loki. David.
The TVA, like, what are you doing? It's a 10-year-old like kid or whatever, and immediately just like turns around and grabs, like, picks her pocket, and then boom, she's gone. It kind of, to me, that's proof that the TVA isn't all that it's made out to be. Also, one quick note I want to throw in there is that Renslayer seems to have not like aged any in between those two, at least from what I saw, which is like kind of showing how time works differently in the TVA and how to them, time can be, it's like that could have been a couple weeks ago, who knows?
Yes,
that was all. And just the ineptitude of the TVA here, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? But good scene.
Strange. I was 100% expecting it.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you were surprised by Sylvie being the superior Loki as a 10-year-old.
Not really, no.
Okay.
She's clearly
just
the
making
superior
sure.
Loki.
Clearly the superior Loki. I mean, she decided to go blonde to look more like Thor. How can you not say that's a win? We get a huge tease of the Timekeepers, which all I have written down is dark side vibes and what's the symbol.
Dark side vibes. That's perfect. Yeah.
It's exactly what it felt like. The red eyes, the symbol behind them, which was kind of an omega.
I will say, like, spoiler, we do get a scene with them later, but like just this shot and actually kind of like getting a glimpse of them, I like gasped audibly. I'm like, holy shit. Like, we're finally actually gonna, like, they're real, right? They're real. Like, there's actually physical things that are in the building that actually like represent the Timekeepers. Because in my mind, honestly, I thought we were never going to see them because they never existed. But the fact that there actually was this big ruse,
okay,
I don't know.
I
It was crazy.
Be in, like, the finale, maybe not episode 4.
I mentioned earlier to Thomas before we went live that this episode, in a lot of ways, felt like a finale to me. The pace of it and the incredible amounts of, like, things they set up that we get payoffs to in a couple of different areas where I'm like, whoa, normally they save this. And this is just like this is the middle of the season. It was so good to me. So much happens. And Thomas still has a lot more to get through.
Yeah. For Weirder just asked, why you spoiling? I always forget to preface this. This is a Loki special. This is all spoilers. I will tell you exactly what happened, then tell you what I think happened, then tell you what I think's gonna happen, and then I'm gonna tell you what definitely won't happen because I went too deep into the rabbit hole. But we'll circle back to the plot, maybe, as Terry says. Speaking of the plot, Mobius wants to question C20, but Renslayer says she's dead. Which I thought, yeah.
Liar!
Renslayer says that C20 went crazy from enchantment.
Liar!
Yep, that's gonna be a theme. Don't hate on that. Now we jump to Lamentus 1. This is like 4 minutes into the episode, so get ready, kids. Trailer shot on the rock. Well, not the rock, but like twin rocks from the trailer. You get what I'm saying. Sylvie remembers Asgard, which was unexpected to me. Personally, I didn't expect that in any way, shape, or form. And then they have a brilliant conversation, but I'm going to steal the mild segments from the direct pod right now and just say lines that matter. The universe wants to break free, so it manifests chaos.
So good.
And all I thought was chaos magic. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. Sign me up for destroying reality. That sounded worse out loud than in my head. Let's do it. she was born the god of mischief, which I want to take a quick time out. I don't know. And talk that here was another unexpected thing. We'd all debated whether she was born as Laufey's daughter or Laufey's son, and just decided because can transform into anything they want. Thoughts from we'll go clockwise from Leah on the screen. What did you think about this?
About the little kidnapping scene?
Being what? Yes, being born the god of mischief and the kidnapping scene. Since we're here,
spoiler for later in the episode, I think that is her Nexus event. Is that she exists? I'm team female Loki is the Nexus event. She got too far in her timeline to where it was not going to be reversible. They said, never mind, pluck.
Right.
Because I think you guys talked about it last week. All the other Loki variants are male. She's the only female Loki variant. Even as we go on to find out, at least the ones we've seen, they're all male.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, sorry, we're going at it the clockwise order.
Shocking, David.
Yeah. Well, no, I completely agree. Like, I totally think that she was snagged just because she was a girl, and that's what. Yeah. And I think there is a line in the show in this episode. I forget where like she's talking about the experience or whatever, and it's like, dang, like what this show, like the kind of like, I guess themes and kind of like metaphors they're making in this show are really interesting to me. Like it's really deep. And you wouldn't really expect that, but I think that's kind of like the brilliance of it, where it's like it's telling more than just this sci-fi Marvel story. It's a lot about like self-love and like, that everything with the multiverse is so interesting, right? Like how it's not just, it's a multiverse that's super fun and exciting. It's like it should exist and people should be allowed to exist. That's the whole thing with the TVA, right? Yeah. Like they're just trying to not let people live. So yeah, I think Sylvie in this episode to me really went up a notch from last episode of me at least caring about her. Where I'm like, I'm really invested in that character now. Sorry, Bethanne.
I love
her. No, I agree. I mean, I think there is something to it. Maybe it's the TVA took her because she's a girl, but also she's 10 at the time they take her. So now I want to know why at 10 they're taking her. And as far as for, I think her character, there's a lot of dynamics. She has definitely an anti-hero vibe in general. And I think we're going to see like almost another shift in her, not necessarily physical, but just like in her character that I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. Because we start seeing a little bit of it in the beginning of it between her and the regular Loki. And I'm interested to see where that's going to go in general in just her character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does make sense. That's really good. I don't have anything to say because I'm talking a lot.
Back to the plot, Thomas. Get back to the plot.
Back to the plot. Where was I? God of mischief. Back in the TVA, Hunter B-15 is anxious about getting info from C-20 because they got enchanted. God, I can't wait for her to go by the Enchantress. I have Loki, and then I have a lot of question marks written there. So, whoops, that's what happens when you only watch it twice. Lamentus 1, because we're jumping around here. I really wish, like part of me wishes, slight tangent, that we just had big Russo letters every time. Like every single time we jump. Because it'll do it here and there. But like this episode would have been hilarious if they just threw TVA. Lamentus 1, TVA, Time Prison, TVA, this, there, boom, here. And that would have been, I would have found that fucking hilarious. Lamentus 1, Lokis don't die, they survive. That's what I have written down because that's like the whole point of this entire sequence. Which brings up, which will where is it? It drops the bomb. Dang it. It's a little bit later, so we'll skip ahead. Mobius is like, the Nexus event because you're a narcissist and you fell in love with yourself, a girl version of you, blah, blah, blah. But let's talk about it here and now. I think, and I don't remember who brought this up first, whether it was David or me, probably David, because he was on his phone more yesterday. It would probably be the Nexus event is that 2 Lokis are about to die when neither of them are supposed to die. And if we look at the understanding of Ragnarok itself, in the comics, the gods don't die. After Ragnarok, they end up reincarnating, which is when Loki, which we'll get to this point in a minute because I'm super excited, Loki steals Sif's body and becomes Lady Loki in the comics, and that's canonical Lady Loki. So that is a fun little wrinkle into it all, that which we'll get to a little bit later, I suppose, at the mid-credit scene, excuse me. I think that might be what the Nexus event is.
I thought the Nexus event was simply that, and the reason I like that one though. I didn't bring that one up, Thomas. That's a good one. I think because the uniqueness of the Nexus event too, it seems like it's just because 2 people are like falling in love with themselves, and it's like that to me was like enough for some weird, like, that's not supposed to happen, right?
No.
Like, in Apocalypse, that is definitely not supposed to happen. We're like, I feel like that would be almost like just blasphemy for the TVA, right? Because their job is to basically keep on this one timeline, one of each person essentially, and the fact that now 2 people of the same kind are kind of like getting infatuated with each other would be enough. At least that's what I thought while I was watching it, to cause this like weird, like, and it's also a weird branch too, where it's a little more unique and steeper. Like it's going straight towards that red line. It's funny that we brought this up because we were talking to my girlfriend, and she had the same thing. She's like, "What was the event?" And she's like, "Was it just them falling in love?" And I'm like, "I guess." Like, I don't know. That's my best guess.
I think it's heading that direction, and like for me, I totally get the concept of it, and I think it's smart. But also, like, I feel like the way it's almost being rushed, and I know they only have 6 episodes, but the way they're kind of like almost like it was in episode 2 in the middle of it. I'm sorry, episode 3. That's when it starts switching. It makes me think the fact that they're rushing into it makes me think there's something else. Like I feel like that's like often a script writing pull. They're showing you this one thing while they're not showing you what the left hand's doing. Right. So I'm wondering if that's like, we're all thinking it's going that direction, and then it's going to flip into something else.
I like that. Yeah.
That is, now my brain's racing.
After like thinking about it all day, the Nexus event, Loki does a lot of introspecting in episode 3, where he kind of like learns about himself through talking to Sylvie. And so I thought maybe he was like accepting himself because he's always hated himself and hated how he's going to be alone. Yeah. And then he realizes that he doesn't have to be alone if he doesn't, act like a dick all the time. And so
that's a life lesson that some people need to hear in this world, what you just said.
When he accepts that, it's like, wait, no, he's supposed to be alone. Just kidding. He can't fall in love. Because it was that exact moment where he like touches her is when things start to go crazy.
Right.
So
but I didn't see the TVA rescuing them because of that. That came out of nowhere. I was like, how are they going to get off this planet?
So what you're saying is, as you learn more about yourself to become a better person, that's when the universe says, all right, that's enough.
Yeah. You can't go as a person.
Being the fucked up person you are, that's alone.
Yep. You gotta stay alone. And I say that specifically because of the mind prison scene that he's stuck in, is because it keeps repeating that he's going to be alone.
Yes. Okay. That's a great almost segue. So we'll jump through the boring part of TVA temporal lock on the Nexus event as it nearly occurs. Mobius and Loki reunion. Basically, it's fun. Mobius repeats Loki's insults, and for some reason, it's so damn charming. Wow. Loki drops the bomb that they're all variants, and Mobius doesn't believe him. Or no, that they're all lying. Mobius doesn't believe him. Time, prison, Asgard. I'm sorry, everyone's ears. Sif is back! Ah! I'm so happy we got her back. Let's get her back in Love and Thunder. Multiverse of Madness, all the movies.
Let me quickly explain.
Before you get here, I have to go through the real fangirling part of this whole segment. The infamous haircutting of Lady Sif by Loki once he was rejected by her. The fact that we get to see the outcome of this over and over and over and over and over and over again. I think we see it 6 times. I think that's enough banging on this desk. Is brilliant, magnificent, and that's where each episode he has a breaking moment, and I think that is the real beginning of his break, because he's like, she's not wrong, I feel the same way.
Right. I was just gonna say, Thomas, that I feel like you had to let that out because you watched full disclosure, you watched this at like 2 a.m. where you can't you don't want to wake anyone up, so you know.
Yes. I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was like, Loki. And but then I was like, breakfast. So I started cooking breakfast and I started watching, and this was not a good episode to watch at 2 o'clock in the morning. This is not a good episode to watch at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's plenty of times where I was just like, okay, cool. And I'm like, sweet. I mean, we got to this point, but there's a few times where I'm just like, including that mid-credit scene, which I sent. It was mid-tweet when it happened. I remember seeing that. Yeah, mid-tweet. I squirrel-brained it. Who else is hyped that Sif is back?
I was very hyped.
I always loved Sif's character, and I was always disappointed that they kind of wrote her out. So I'm actually excited, especially with your with the comic book connection that you brought up earlier, where after Loki regenerates into Sif. Now I'm interested if she's there on purpose.
She's got to be there on purpose.
Well, she's got to be. Everything in Marvel has a meaning.
Yeah, and I think part of it might be there's rumors right now that she's going to show up in the next Thor movie.
Yeah.
So kind of getting her back into the fold a little bit, and then having her show up in the big blockbuster film makes a little sense to me.
Queen of Asgard. Let's go. Queen Sif of Asgard.
Sif and Valkyrie, man. That's a good one.
Yes.
Oh.
You know
ooh, that would be a good one.
My ship is still Sylvie and Valkyrie. That's the ship I want most.
Valkyrie could never fall in love with a Loki, I feel like.
No, she never would.
But she's not a Loki, David.
Not sure the title of the show says differently.
All intents and purposes, it's a Loki.
Yeah.
Don't use logic, guys.
She'd go either way.
Back to the plot. The TVA. So Renslayer tells Mobius to work his Loki, which now they're getting into a lot of fun stuff, including you've been hanging out with too many Lokis. Factual statement. Mobius checks in on Sylvie and chats with B-15, where we get a line that at first at 2 o'clock in the morning, I was just like, oh yeah, like whatever. That makes sense. Kree, Titans, vampires. And then someone was like, yeah, like they mentioned vampires. And I was like, oh, they did mention vampires. Is it hints at Blade? Are they trying to bring Morbius into the MCU?
My thought was Morbius. Because he's kind of dropped off everyone's radar. Like, I keep forgetting that movie's coming out, and then I was at the movies, and I was like, shouldn't they be playing a trailer for that right now? Because they were playing it before the pandemic.
Didn't Mahershala Ali get confirmed as Blade, though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's got to be a tie-in. Like, they don't say things on... That's the thing. When something is written in a Marvel movie, it's said on purpose. Like, everything is intentional and ties back to the universes somehow.
Yeah, I think it was definitely intentional. Especially the vampires bit with them setting up specifically Blade, because like Morbius, it's like in the Sony universe and might maybe be in the MCU, and we'll see, what's going to be the difference maybe after No Way Home or even after this show. But yeah, I think definitely like setting up Mahershala Ali's blade. That's gonna be they're really taking their time with that movie too. Like they literally announced the movie, just Ali was attached to it, and they're like, all right, we're making the movie, and they had no director, no writer. It's like, it's happening, right?
Yeah.
No story.
Yeah. Like,
well, he's been petitioning for so long.
He's gonna kill it.
Oh yeah, he's gonna knock out the park and probably get an Academy Award for it. But like, yeah, he's been petitioning to be to have another Blade reboot for so long.
Yeah.
I had to remember what my thought was earlier, that they put vampires in the power level, if you will, the ranking of Kree and Titans. When we know how fracked up the Kree are. And then Titans, it's Thanos, or maybe even Celestials, or maybe the actual gods, the Titans that birthed, Zeus. Which, holy shit, if they tie in by having then we mention the Titans and then we see Gore, the God Butcher, kill them. Give it to me,
man.
Marvel.
I mean, we see Titans in Eternals too, right?
Yeah.
We probably will see.
I mean, I'm assuming.
That's the hint I would go with.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're born on planet Titan, I guess you are a Titan, right?
True.
I believe
is that how that works? So Thena,
that would be...
Thena is a Titan. I guess that is that how nationalism works? If I'm born in America, am I an American?
The MCU is so deep, man. They're so deep. So many different things they're trying to tell us, man.
Yeah, Mephisto.
No, not again.
Not again.
I'm on the train that we'll get Mephisto Nightmare combination, and that is something I'm really here for. If we don't play in the Nightmare universe, we're wasting our time. And if we don't do it in Blade, we're wasting the fact we can make it rated R. B15, back to the plot, asks Mobius about Loki. And he said, asking if he said anything. Good Lord, my notes are terrible. And he drops the nugget of the TVA lying to everyone, saying, oh yeah, he just said that the TVA is lying to everyone. And B15 perks up like oh really? And then she runs off, which was weird. Back to Asgard. Loki begs for pardon, and we get to the root of the issue's character. And he says, this is his quote, I crave attention. I'm a narcissist because I'm scared of ultimately being alone, which is just so sad. What a bummer. And then Lady Sif is just, I won't hit you, but you are alone and you always will be. And that's like the 6th fracking time we've heard that.
Yeah.
I think he's broken. I'm intriguing that we got to the 6th of it all as well. Mephisto. What did you guys think of this actual, now that we're here in the plot, breakdown? Like he kind of broke it down. He's dead. He's dead a little on the inside.
I felt so bad in this whole sequence between this and the Mobius interrogation. I was like, leave the poor man alone.
Yeah.
What a segue. We're just going to hop into it now. Mobius interrogation. He then, he asks, oh, your partners, blah, 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 blah. And Loki's like, that was a terrible Owen Wilson. He's like, no, she's difficult, irritating, hits me all the time. Which is A, maybe she likes you, or B, maybe it's your sister. Relationships are kind of weird. Loki takes the blame. That sounded so wrong and so Alabamian. Or I'm so sorry if you're from Alabama and you're a fan, man, but I know some people from Alabama and I am not a fan, man. Not all of them, just those ones. Loki takes the blame for everything, saying, well, of course I was in charge, blah, 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 blah. Because why would he not tell a lie here? Mobius says that Sylvie has already been pruned, and Loki, boy, is just more broken and officially alone.
Right.
Which is just, now we're all sad.
It hurt me.
Yeah.
I was like, don't don't play with his feelings like that. He finally found someone he could relate to, and you just crushed his dreams.
Yeah.
Great
it was
acting.
really just real fast. You
It was
know,
really great acting by Hiddleston too, right? He's so good with his eyes. Does anyone else notice that? Like his eyes tell 1,000 words. It's so. I mean, to me, like Hiddleston, he's at least a top 3 MCU actor. Like that's why I think they made this show. If it wasn't that perfect baseball glove fit of actor and character with Hiddleston and Loki, they wouldn't make this show because like you need it, right? You need these sort of moments to hit. And one thing we were just talking about, like with Loki breaking and stuff, one of my buddies, who's a really big Loki fan just in general, he hasn't watched, I think he maybe watched WandaVision, but he's not like been super into the MCU shows so far. I don't know if he's even watched all of the movies. He's just a big fan of the character. And he's like, he was talking to me about this episode, and he was kind of saying with like him at the end, almost like trying to like say his feelings for Sylvie. He's like, that seems kind of out of character. And you know what I said was kind of like, but I feel like that's part of the point of the show is to kind of like get this new side of him, you know, and kind of like and break him essentially, and kind of like show really who he is, and it's just more of a character study, I guess, than we've ever seen. Because in these movies, you know, in and out and in 2 hours, and you get glimpses and some fun things. Even though we've seen him on screen for 10 years now.
But doesn't he have only like 70 minutes of screen time in 10 years as Loki?
Yeah, probably.
Isn't it something? It's something like that. I heard that I heard a number on a podcast at some point. God, I listen to a lot of
that. Sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was
crazy
our boys at the Direct Pod or not, but it's a pretty small number because he's, you know, the supporting character.
I was gonna say he's always like a supporting character. So 70 minutes, that's still a lot even over his long stretch. Because in some movies he's barely in them, like Infinity War, Endgame, like you barely see him pop up.
Yes, well, I mean he does kind of have a declining nature after Avengers,
Dark
really.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Dark World, but then like he's in Ragnarok, but he's also not in Ragnarok. He's like he pops in and out, very Loki like. So you know, crazy that he's in the top 3, and I think we all would have said that even before this show came out.
Oh yeah,
I think to argue like that's because it's like oh yeah, Tom Hiddleston, that's Loki. Yeah. The same way you're like Chris Evans is Captain America, but in a different way, because totally so much less and steals every scene he's in, is in every scene. So he doesn't have to steal every scene.
And RDJ is Iron Man. That's the number 1 for me.
Yeah.
To me, it's Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr. and then it's Hiddleston is Loki. Like those are the 2 for me where it's like those are not replaceable.
I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think there's just like from a culture perspective with Tom Hiddleston in the role. I mean, I just remember in 2012 when Avengers came out, gosh, every Hot Topic, man. Like Loki fandom hit, and it stuck around, and we finally got a show out of it, which was kind of an inevitable. But I mean, it's just so good to actually dive into Loki's character because he's been supporting. We've only been told what we need to know based off of like him and Thor's relationship or him and his relationship with his mom, and that's it. We've never actually explored the character for who he actually is. So it's been nice to learn, hey, he doesn't want to be alone. Oh, this is a new concept in a way, like actually getting to the root of the character.
Yeah, there's moments, right? There's been moments. And I feel like the same way with Wanda to a certain extent.
Yeah.
It's like we had moments with her and like things, you know, in Infinity War with her and Vision hiding out in Scotland. And then, you know, her in Endgame being like, you took everything from me. And like, it's moments, right? And you stick onto those, and they've just kind of been turning little moments into these grand shows, and it's really brilliant on their part to kind of like take characters that we knew and loved, like even like Sam and Bucky. You know, they've been supporting characters, and now Sam specifically is going to be the star, becoming Captain America and everything. So yeah, it's really smart, and I'm excited for when, you know, so far we've had this. Tangent Town. So far, we've had like 3 shows with previous supporting characters, essentially, like established MCU heroes or villains, whatever. And now we're gonna get a Miss Marvel and a Hawkeye introducing new characters, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how that goes. Like in that, like they're not being introduced now in a supporting role in a movie. They're being introduced through a show. That's gonna be a whole different feel, I think, because these I feel like have gotten people watching because we know them, especially Loki, where it's like everyone loves Loki. I'm gonna watch this show, and now it's like when Miss Marvel comes out, and even Hawkeye, even though we have Jeremy Renner back, but Kate Bishop's being introduced in that. That's going to be, I think, more of the main plot is Kate Bishop. You know, seeing how that plays out and how people take to that, I think it's going to be really interesting and unique how they're going to set new characters up in this TV, I guess, medium, I suppose, and then how they play into the movies. I kind of like how it's going to be backwards from where we are right now, because we know Miss Marvel's going to be in the Marvels, you know, the Captain Marvel 2 sequel. So pretty cool times. Back to the plot, Thomas. I'm sorry, Tangent Town.
Yeah, just check where we're at. We're so early in the show, man. Loki takes the blame. Mobius says she's Mobius thinks Loki falling for Sylvie is the cause of the Nexus event. We've discussed that. Thank goodness. Loki drops the variant bomb and says that Sylvie can access your memories. And the thing that I really need to say is that you can tell as soon as he says that, he looks down and he goes, damn it. Because it's like something inside of him already knew that, because you can only erase you can't erase memories. Man. You just kind of have to shove them. The jet skis. And yeah, I feel like we could instantly tell that, and then it cuts nicely straight to B-15, completely fucking losing it. And she looks at a sign that says verify through deletion, and then she just bursts in there, looks at Sylvie, says follow me. Then we jump to Renslayer's office. So we're still in the TVA, in case you're wondering, so this is nice. Mobius chews on the variant bomb while talking to Renslayer, and then he asks, why won't you let me interrogate Sylvie? With which she says, why can't you let it go? And blah, blah, blah. And this is where we've hung out with too many Lokis. But then she drops the nice little nugget that the timekeepers want to personally oversee the pruning of the variant. And then Mobius is invited to go there. To which she replies with, finally, it's about time. And I'm like, yeah, finally, we get to see Darkseid timekeepers. C20 is brought up by Mobius. And says that something seems just a little bit off with the whole situation, with how she was and how quickly she declined. And then we, of course, get Renslayer saying, I'm trying to protect you.
Liar!
I couldn't deal with what with that happening to you. But could Renslayer actually love Mobius? Not romantically, but like in an old-fashioned friendship, co-worker love, because she does actually seem concerned in a couple spots, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that as well?
I agree.
Yeah,
I think it's a friendship thing.
Sweet.
There is, you can tell there's history. There's a connection. Yeah. They are friends. They've worked together a long time.
A long time.
Some kind of long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means to you, do you. Mobius swaps the TemPad, and then we jump back to Alabama, 2050. Sylvie can only use memories. She cannot create them. I put a little note. Wanda can. Nice.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. Ooh, you know what? This would have been a fun sound effect to know that I had. I'm definitely keeping that. Sounds like the aliens from Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
Do I have O saved? We don't. Saving O. Oh, let's go. That's live. We do stuff live, kids. B-15 is then shown her life, and tears.
Oh my
the
gosh.
Music, the actual connection between the two when they back off, and the line that broke me, I looked happy.
Yeah.
Incredible acting. Yeah. Where do they find
that
these
scene
people?
Almost broke me. That was
so
sensational writing.
I was stunned by the performance there, because the B-15 up to this point, I don't know the actress's name. I wish I did. because I would praise her to the moon and back. Because like I thought this character was so cookie cutter from episodes 1 and 2. Oh, you know, she's the big bully, tough guy in the TVA, and I love how she's the turncoat, and she's the one that's like, oh my gosh, like it's true. I have I thought this was fantastically done and a great performance. Like one of you just said, the writing too. Oh
yeah, the writing alone. I mean, just in general, I feel like for Loki, the writing's been so strong. Like I really praise the writers on it because they've thought about everything. They've dotted their I's and crossed their T's. And I think like what you were saying, her being the turncoat, like they kind of like on that cookie cutter aspect, like you would expect her character arc to be, she's the tough one. Mobius is the one that's the turncoat and starts saying, oh, maybe she's right. And then there would just be this epic battle scene between Mobius and is it B-52? I think I'm wrong.
15.
B-15. Thank you. B-15, where they get into this like prune battle thing. Like you just fully expect that.
Yeah.
And they just really flip the script there. And her acting, like her acting and how she's able to channel that emotion has been just phenomenal.
Yeah.
I just have to let you all know, I really had to resist the urge to start just really singing Love Shack.
See, that's what happens when you run a rock podcast. The only thing your brain thinks of is rock. It's hard to switch gears sometimes.
You said B-52, and I was like, Love Shack!
I was like, there's no way Marvel's putting a B-52 reference in here, but it's the only thing I had in my head, so I went with it.
I mean,
would you love to see B-52 in MCU? Because I would.
Now that's the needle drop that we need right there.
What if that's a multiverse thing and Love Shack is actually Guardians of the Galaxy in a future multiverse? I'm telling you, it's there.
I'm buying what she said. Shut up and take my money. All right, back to the plot. This is going to be some fun, big deal stuff here going on. Mobius, a TVA library, in case you're wondering the location. Mobius learns the truth. The TIMPAD dates for the mission info had 7/13/1979. That sounds fun. I don't know the date. I should have looked these up, but I was at work all day, so that sucks. November 8th, 1537. I did look that one up. Found nothing on. You never know. 3/15/2050. The Ides of March. That's the hurricane in Alabama. What in the ass is hurricanes doing in March?
That's a good question. I didn't even think about that.
But you know what's really scary? We've had a couple of hurricanes in November, so it's very possible. And with the poles shifting,
calendar
by 2050,
with the poles shifting, it's gonna. Bama, I'm on the coast.
You should move now.
I don't want to be Aquaman, King of the Gulf of Mexico. Let me tell you what, man. I'll be
more like Aquaman, but you know, Aquaman. Not as pronounced, but you know,
you can call me Aquaman. Aquaman. Take Aquaman down. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
With all that order.
Have you guys seen Harley Quinn on HBO Max?
Yes, that's one of my favorite shows.
I would be Aquaman, King of the Seven Seas, or at least Gulf of Mexico.
Yes.
David, get your shit together, Carol. Then there's Mission Debrief 44YIO. I don't really know what that correlates to. But it's important information and someone will know. But then C20, we get some stuff. It goes to a point. The interrogator says, calm down. And C20 responds with, calm down. I'm a variant. So are you. So is everyone else in this place. And Renslayer shuts down the interrogation, proving once and for all that she was a fucking
liar.
Thank you, Anakin. Back to Asgard. Mobius wants to burn the whole TVA down. And then,
hell yeah.
And then,
you should.
Fucking A, it's about damn time. Do I still have it?
It really stressed me out that he's watching this clip out in the open in the library, though. I was like, isn't there like a more private place you can go to watch this?
Don't you have an office?
Then I started thinking, well, where do they sleep in the TVA? Do they have like dorm rooms? Do they
sleep? Yeah.
What is sleep?
That's where I went with him watching that in the library. I was like, he needs an apartment or something, someplace to go watch this in private. So the librarian can't overhear.
Yeah.
So Loki, Mobius ends up saying, do you trust her?
And
other things like that. And then he says, am I supposed to trust the word of two Lokis?
And
Loki responds with, how about the word of a friend? And shit, if I didn't almost cry.
Yeah.
Then Mobius admits right away Loki was right about the TVA from the beginning and asks for Loki's trust. Then we jump to the TVA, met instantly by Renslayer and the Nazi Minutemen. Mobius would go wherever he was. Oh, there was a question. Excuse me. I should have better notes. There was a question early in the episode. Where would you go in time if you could? And then he responds here at this moment. You know where I'd go? I would go wherever I was from before the TVA popped me out and ruined my life. Maybe I had a jet ski. And then Mobius gets fucking pruned and we're just like... What?
Yeah.
What?
Wow.
I was sitting there like literally my jaw was just like, did I just watch what I thought I watched? That was fake, right? Like that was a fake out.
And it kind of was, I think.
Yeah.
After the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
Is it? We'll debate later.
We don't know. But yeah, that scene, that's the best scene maybe of the show so far to me. Like Mobius talking about, just I want to go back, brings up the jet ski, like, holy, like, come on. Like, that's,
fucking
you could tell. And Mobius the whole way has always been the more nurturing, caring TVA Minuteman or whatever you want to say. And like the fact that he now knows it's fake, like, but his moral compass is always, swayed right back to the TVA's, rules and regulations. And now that that's gone, like, oh my gosh, Owen Wilson, this is one of his best roles in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
it really is.
It just, for me, it just keeps circling back to writing with the show. And it both feels like from a story arc perspective, like TV, but the actual dialogue is very cinematic. Like I think about Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier, that felt like just a TV show. Like that is a serial... old time Captain America. Tune in next week to see what our hero does. But this show
he beats up this week.
Yeah, who are they going to beat up? Which Nazi is going to get punched today? But for this show, it is very like they only got 8 episodes, and they're making this dialogue just almost like an Oscar-worthy dialogue. Like you asked where I would go on a jet ski back to my life. Like the one you took from me, it was just so well done. I'm a writing nerd, if you couldn't tell. Like I love good dialogue.
And on the writing, like there was the setup too. Like I love when they do that as well in anything. Where they set it up earlier. Like she asked him that question then, and it seems like a random question. Like she's just almost trying to like make him relax and know that they're friends. And then it turns into what it becomes later. I love when they set something up and then it comes off later in the same episode too. It's always, it's great.
See, not only did they set that up, but episodes ago, they set up that jet ski payoff as well, which is like a longer burn. So then you get 2 payoffs right together. So it hits better. Yeah. That is what I think we're about to start getting from Marvel. Like that's what we loved in WandaVision was when 2 things came together, and even if we didn't like the answer, it at least answered dumb questions. Yeah. Even if it was a boner. Adam West, he said boner. Boner. Shout out Family Guy for teaching me about Adam West. I should have my nerd card revoked, by the way, because I did know Adam West was Batman, but I just never think of him as Batman. I think of him as Adam West. Back to the plot. B-15 is being hunted for being compromised by the variant, and we get to Renslayer takes Loki, and we get to the elevator. They get inside the elevator. Elevator scene. After the elevator scene, we're going to take an ad break. So I'm going to run through this really quick. The most important dialogue from Sylvie, is, "Do you remember me?" Renslayer says, "Yes." "What was my Nexus event?" Renslayer, with the sneakiest little shit fucking facial expression, with just "I don't remember."
Liar! Liar!
She knows.
Liar!
Yeah.
She's
She
going to
knows.
reveal it in the last episode. You mark my words. So she's going to go, "Oh, I do remember." And that's going to exact line too.
Yeah.
I like that theory. I like that idea. David, right before break, what's your last?
I want to save this for later after we finish the plot, but I want to talk about what we think Renslayer does and does not know at this point.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Leah, thoughts so far before we get to the Timekeeper's chamber?
This is the case that's been eating Renslayer alive for her entire career.
Yeah.
She knows.
The one that got away. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. We got bills to pay, because as much as we got bills to pay, kids, we'll be right back.
We are a touring acoustic duo crashing kitchens around the country. We go from house to house every Friday night, and we create music, we create food, a good time, we stream it live, and we do it for free. So now we're just really kind of like trying to develop it and build a community group that people believe in, then they'll help us. So we played from our rehearsal room, we played from the bathroom, thankfully that didn't catch on.
I probably played guitar in my room, not for anyone, in front of anyone, nobody heard, for probably about 10 years.
And then one Friday night, we played from the kitchen. It's the main place people want to be. It's where the food is, it's where the drink is, it's where the best lighting is. You can go to any party and I guarantee you, the kitchen is going to be popping.
Our ultimate goal, I think, would be to crash kitchens every Friday all around the world.
Reels and Heels is a podcast that discusses movies, television, wrestling, and more. With a rotating guest list of friends and filmmakers alike, Reels and Heels salutes the creative arts of all kinds. Join Ryan Winzeloff and Nicole Jobin live every Saturday at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Reels and Heels.
Welcome, Glasscock Park, to this glorious day.
Today is your lucky day. We got some great stuff. This is Glasscock Park.
Marvelous.
Thank you.
Come on, let's go, let's go. I don't have all day, people.
Now, it's time.
Tell your friends, huh?
Tell your friends, huh? I have seen that so many times, and I love it every time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back really fast. Shout out to Terry McIver. He is so good. He has no idea every time when we do this show what ad I'm going to play. And he's still, in a wickedly timely manner, off the delay, is still able to get these up here live. He's a legend. And boom, just popped up right there because it probably is playing right now on Bookface. Comments really fast. We have a good question. We'll get to this later because I want to keep this up. From Terry, I wonder if Renslayer knows what happens to people when they're pruned. We're going to chew on that because backing to the plot. Guys, I'm not usually the plot guy. I usually let David do that, and then I do the insane theories. But this entire episode is such my vibe and insanity. We're jumping back into the Timekeeper's chamber. Shot composition. Real fast. You were talking about being a writing nerd, Bethanne.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at David. I'm so used to looking over here. You were talking about being a writing nerd, Bethanne. And I got to say, I'm an actor, so I love good writing. I just love film, so I love good shit that I pick apart. The shot composition of the close-ups of each individual timekeeper, but the big group shots for the main characters added a nice juxtaposition of size, as well as, oh, we're all here like being judged and they're there, like they are the power where it's at, and also clearly following COVID protocol.
Yes.
So,
I love a show
that
advocates safety.
Because these were definitely being filmed during that time. And we all a lot of people questioned episode 3 being COVID, like, because it's just 2 people. The background could be the volume. Legit, they could film those people and just put it in the volume if they wanted to. And it's not very many close-up scenes. And then you got that amazing fight scene, which is really just 2 people running a lot, which those suck filming. But they're fun because you get a great workout. And Leah, guess what? You're really sweaty afterwards. So perfect.
Perfect.
I really loved that one thing. And it kind of hinted more at what's going to come a little bit later. Not so much hinted, but gave you such a close-up view that what happens later makes you go, oh, that's good shit.
Yeah.
Loki says that I've lost track of the number of times I've been killed. So have we. Variant is nothing. The timekeeper number, whatever it is, says the variance is nothing but a cosmic disappointment, which now we know where the Renslayer got her lines from. So fair, understood. I'm obviously ripping off other people's lines because I don't want to be a
liar.
that accidentally worked out. Variant B15 with the save, and she says what I am now going to say is not a Nazi phrase, or not a phrase of brainwashing propaganda, unlike "this is the way." She says, "for all time," and son of a bitch, if I had to cover my mouth and go, because it's fight time. Loki is terrible at hand-to-hand combat, brother.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he is bad.
God. Now I understand why he dies all
He's
the
always
time.
like working backwards. You notice? He'll be like,
Yeah.
ooh, like he's just like falling at it. Like he looks about to fall down every time.
This is also why Sylvie might be the superior Loki, because girl got some skills.
Yeah.
Like you are not pulling anything on her.
She's like Nightwing in this with that. Pruning
You
stick.
son of a bitch! You know Dick Grayson's my favorite character. Speaking of Sylvie, she is fracking amazing. She really does have like Black Widow. I think it was Matt Rimke or Liam pointed out, she's got Black Widow style fight moves. And the way she goes about it, it's very hand to hand, she does some pro wrestling shit, which got a pop from me, man. I love I love wrestling.
It's the orphan type of fighting in the sense of like you look at Black Widow, got trained at the academy.
Ooh.
Whenever it's an orphan, there's a certain like
Killmonger,
grovel, like I'm going, like just knows from every perspective where someone's coming. Like it's a very unique fighting style, I would say.
I like it.
That is
also props to the actress. I don't know her name off the top of my head, but she had just had a baby. Like,
oh, for real?
She was still like breastfeeding while she was shooting.
That's
good for her.
Like,
is that what that picture is?
Yeah,
that I've seen going around.
Her costume had hidden zippers along the side, so it was like accessible for her, which was really cool. But like, she had just had a baby.
That's crazy. Sophia Di Marie, I believe is her name.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew it was Sophia. Couldn't remember her last name.
I think it's Di Martino.
I thought whatever.
Sophia did a great job.
Sophia,
sure
that's all we need to know. Sophia, bravo.
That combat training was not easy.
It's no doubt. Yeah.
No, it's a lot of fun though. We get Renslayer versus Sylvie, and let's just summarize this. Renslayer gets mopped. The floor is swept, and Sylvie wins by knockout. Then those fucking liars say, "You're a child of the timekeepers too, Sylvie. We can talk."
Liar!
Yeah. So Sylvie throws a fucking knife and we get sparks? Sparks? What? Mindless androids are the timekeepers. Officially mind blown. Did not see androids as the being what the timekeepers were Really quick, my only question, rhetorical, you don't have to answer because I want to get everyone's general thoughts on this moment and reveal. Is Vision, is part of Vision's technology part of the Timekeepers?
I would debate that it's one and the same, but it's like more Ultron's tech of being like, you know, Vision. It's one and the same because like Ultron created Vision, blah blah blah. But like,
we have new Vision now.
That's true. That's true.
And he evolves. So
I guess the only reason I would say that is because they're a puppet, and that's kind of what Ultron ultimately was, whereas Vision was his own thing. And beyond that question you asked, Thomas, this moment to me, my jaw was on the ground. I'm like, no way, they're just robots. I loved it. I love it. I love how it's all a ruse because I wanted them to not exist, and we were actually seeing them. I'm saying like no way, they're actual, they're real, and then boom, they're not. And one point, I don't know if you wrote it down. I don't think you did. Where they laugh, the other two on the sides laugh. When the one's head chops off, and it's like, whoa, whose hand is up their back, right? Like who's pulling the strings? Like, because whoever that is scary. And I think I know who it is. But yeah.
Did your cat just attack the blinds?
Yeah, but she scared herself out of the room.
Oh my god. That is
raining,
brilliant.
and she's like really obsessed with the rain right now. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is raining.
Have you ever seen the rain? Bethanne, what were your thoughts?
Okay, so from a movie perspective, that seems just a great homage to the Wizard of Oz.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even down to the fog machine and that one color that just dominates the room. I mean, I'm very curious where it's going to go. I'm interested who's holding the keys because I don't think it's for Rainslayer. I don't think it's her. I think it's someone that we have not been introduced, but will be key to the multiverse. Also, on a random tangent, did anyone know what the fuck the other two little characters, Timekeepers, were saying? Because the top one I can hear clearly, but the other two, like, I almost had to put on subtitles because I'm like, what are you saying, bruh? Like, behind that mustache, I could barely hear him, and I was wondering. Yeah, it was a very Sam Houston type of talking. And then but I couldn't hear exactly what they were saying, but it almost in a weird way added to this illusion. Like this was all an illusion to something.
Yeah. It's funny. I always watch in subtitles on.
I was going to say, I was about to be like, wait, do you not watch the subtitles?
No,
I usually do, but my husband is not a big subtitle person. So it was off, and I'm going to be holding this as a point when this comes up that you need subtitles. Because I missed a good 30 seconds.
That is actually a really good point because sometimes sometimes it's just the position and you can only do so much with audio. You can only boost it up so much and mix it right. So I always put on subtitles, and when I watch something without subtitles, I twitch a little because I'm like, what are they saying? Like if there's one scene that I can't hear, I will rewind it 50 times before I give up. Just to get it. Because I have to know. I know how important dialogue is.
Yeah.
And usually it's like a crash sound at the same time someone says something important. So I get angry. Anyways, Leah.
I literally just had this thought while you were talking. So it may be really dumb, but is this why robots are not allowed in the TVA?
Oh, that's really good.
Flourish.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's it. That's a winner.
Why was it specifically robots too? Right?
Because they would.
Something's there. I like that a lot. Something's there. I like that.
I think about that scene every time I have to do a caption now. So I was thinking about it today when I filled out a form, and then the dots connected when you were talking. You said mindless robots, and I was like, am I a robot? Am I a robot? Why aren't there robots in the TVA? Are they a threat? could they tell that the timekeepers were fake? I don't know.
There's probably something there.
There's got to be something there. They wouldn't have put it in the check-in process if.
Yeah, maybe because like in the show, it's more of a gag, right? It's for a laugh when Loki, or kind of a laugh when Loki's like, "Am I a robot?" Right?
Where I was a robot and I didn't know.
Yeah, right. Which I thought was funny. Going off of that, I saw on Twitter like the next day after episode 1 where it makes sense, or maybe I don't know if Thomas said this or brought it up. When like a year earlier in the MCU timeline from that point, he didn't even know he was a frost giant, right? So like he's super unaware, like unsure of himself in that moment. So like him not knowing he's a robot kind of had a deeper meaning than the laugh I feel like it gives off in the show.
Yeah,
I love that. I love the robot thing. I feel like that could come back. I think in maybe next episode. I wouldn't be surprised. Or if it ever comes up, we're making it our headcanon right now.
That's what. Yeah, that's why there's no other robots. They'd be a threat to the fake timekeepers.
Because they would have sensors and scanners of some sort, and they would be able to. There's a massive power energy coming from this area, which now makes me jump to Miss Minutes.
Yeah,
I think whoever is controlling Miss Minutes is the real puppeteer.
What if Miss Minutes is the puppeteer?
That'd be so crazy.
Like it's just an
AI
computer
system like Jarvis.
Oh my god! Just like Arnim Zola from Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
That's why it's so low tech. What if Arnim Zola created? Anyways, we're not going down that rabbit hole, I assure you. Where were we at? Mindless androids, right? Oh yeah. Oh well, then my thoughts on that really quick were, because I forgot to say this. Holy fracking shirt bollocks! This was the moment where I legit just kind of almost lost it. I was like, because I was really hoping the center timekeeper in every marketing, it looked like Jonathan Majors. And I will die. I will kill on the hill to prove that in animation points. So when it looked nothing like Jonathan Majors and looked really annoying and kind of like dingy and like it looked like it was bad CGI, but it's supposed to be because it's a puppet. Oh, okay, Terry coming in with the hot. That's a good take. Terry McIver in the comments says it was kind of a vision moment. Am I a monster? I'm not sure. I would know if I were.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
My buddy Juan said, who is the guy at the front desk with the Infinity Stones? That
has all of them. Yeah.
Chris or Craig or whatever.
No,
Casey.
Casey.
Yeah.
I was thinking Jamie, but Casey. Yeah.
Hi, Julia.
Hi, Julia. Friend of the show. She was on the last 2 weeks. I think it's Kang. Let's just.
I think it's Kang too. I think it's got to be Kang. Right?
I'm always going to Kang. Recently, I don't know if you guys saw on the tweet on the Twitter. I think you guys did the top 5 MCU character or top 5 Marvel characters. My number 1, obvious, gonna be Thor. Duh. Shocking. Then it's Cap, Spider-Man. My number 4 is Kang the fucking Conqueror. Because I love a complex villain who can also be an anti-hero, who can also be King Tut, who can also be this character and that character. And because he can travel through time, you can get the same version of that character many different times. We might, who knows, maybe they're building up to Iron Lad versus Kang, which is just young Kang versus old Kang. Or maybe they're doing an Immortus storyline, which, if it is an Immortus situation... which is just super old Kang, which we're not going to go down that timeline.
Well, they're kind of like, I'm sorry, I mean, he's like a shapeshifter too. So it would make sense because Loki's a shapeshifter. So why wouldn't, it's almost like that perfect dichotomy between the two. It almost makes poetic sense.
It is an illusion conjured by the weak to conjure fear.
Yeah.
I love that line. And I think that plays to a certain point because that's also what people do to obtain power is they'll create an illusion. And so Kang wants nothing but pure power and autonomy over time itself. So the fact that he's going after anyone who can see that and also a con man is very good. Yes, it's very good. Julia asks in the comments, wait, Kang is King Tut? We saw a Sphinx. I don't know if King Tut is the right name, but he is definitely a king in Egypt at a certain point in time, and then they worship him eventually as a god, because when in Egypt, you make everyone worship you as a god, I suppose. That would be Kang's mindset. But yes, he did rule ancient Egypt at a certain point. All right, now it's time to get back to the plot with an emotional moment with Sylvie and Loki. He's being awkward. It's important. It's awesome, Bethanne, that you brought up earlier the lighting, the singular lighting, and how here both of them look like frost giants.
Yes.
It's set up kind of like Jotunheim.
Yeah.
Which kind of goes back to maybe it's a Loki ruling it, which our theories, David, of it are gone now because of the mid-credit scene.
Yeah.
But it's awkward. And then he says, I have to tell you something. Back on Lamentis, he grabs her shoulders. What? What is it? And then, BAM! Rainbow colors emitting from Loki's chest, and holy fucking shit, we watched him die the same way Vision did, man. Why, Marvel? Yeah. Why?
I literally yelled no at the TV.
Yeah. It had to come to it, though. One of them had to go. Because we had to know where the pruning was going. So one of them had to go.
True. I like it. I genuinely thought at this point it was over. I was like, oh, shit. Like, Sylvie is Loki now. Like, she's the one. The only one, and it's her. I thought that's where we were going. I was sad. I was like, did they just really kill? This is the only show where they've done. It's because of this episode. I think episode 3 was set up the way it was, so that when episode 4 happens, you're like, what the fuck? Like every point, you're like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to believe. What is happening? Which, preface now, glad they gave us the mid-credit scene. Really fast. Lightning round. Thoughts on this scene? David, you go last. You'll be the longest. I know. We'll start with Leah.
I yelled no at the TV, and then as the credits start rolling, I look at my husband and I go, he's not dead, right? He can't be dead. He's not dead. Please tell me he's not dead. There's a mid-credit scene. Maybe they'll explain it. And then we were sitting there, I'm like, come on, credits, move faster, move faster. So I was extremely shocked. Also, Sylvie should have just killed Renslayer, because that would have solved the problem.
Right.
That's too.
Earlier,
I thought she was dead.
Yeah.
Same. Bethanne.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, I had a feeling it was coming, because the pruning is the mystery box of this series for me. Like, I want to know what's in it. Like, it's not even necessarily the TVA. It's always been the pruning. It just always seems like, where are they going? And so when Mobius got pruned, I honestly thought, well, that's it for Owen Wilson. 4 episodes. He probably got paid big. But
I thought too, yeah.
Yeah. But then when I had a feeling that it was going to be leading to one of them getting pruned, because we had to explore that world. Because it's all multiverse.
The other world.
Yeah, it's the other world. And there's
upside down.
Negative zone.
Also, this is also a complete tangent.
Don't do that.
This is a complete tangent, but I feel like I need to insert it here. Apparently, someone released an article that said Owen Wilson will not say the word wow through this entire series.
I saw that.
Which is just incredible that's a newsworthy thing.
You know what I said to that? Wow.
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 So my thoughts on it were, I was really upset because I'm like, all right, not again. Like, come on, he can't die again. Similar thoughts to what Thomas was saying, where it's like, are they going to the direction where it's like, all right, Sylvie's now Loki, and now it's going to set her up for a future in the MCU? And I'm like, No, like I love Hiddleston. He's so good. He can't just not be in the rest of the show. In the moment, I'm like, I really wasn't sure. Like I was lost in that moment. Like I didn't have, like Bethanne was saying with the pruning, I honestly hadn't thought that much about pruning until now. Like it's like, oh, they disintegrate them. Okay, like fine, move on. That's just been my head on it. And when that happened to him, like great. Like where do we go from here? But I will say when it did happen, it did give me like a moment where I'm like, wait, okay, like they're really gonna get rid of him. But honestly, I was mostly just shocked in the moment and like, oh my gosh. And honestly, like the last 30 minutes we've been talking, everything we've broken down in the plot, it's all of it piling on and on and on. It was like, when is this gonna end? Like this it felt like a finale to me or something, or even like the penultimate episode. The fact that we still have 2 more to go is crazy in my mind. Like I can't imagine doing a slower episode after that one. Like when they were going a mile a minute in the last 30 minutes of the show. It's like there's no way we can get a slow episode after that, right? Because like there's so much more to unfold.
I mean, the opening of this episode was, comparative to the rest of it, slow. Yeah. Compared to the last one, fast. And so I think that they can do that same thing because now, well, we haven't gotten to this point, but now we have a 2-world story. I'm going to go back. The only thoughts I've ever had on pruning is they're just like the colors of the Rainbow Bridge. We'll get to that. I said that from the very beginning, but I didn't know if it was ever going to correlate. I was like, oh, that's just a fun, interesting thing. And it's also all the colors of the Infinity Stone. So I was like, oh, it could be either one. It's just a supreme amount of power.
Interesting.
Put that in your feather brain. Oh, God, where did I go in my notes? Yes, there it is. So at the end, Sylvie then defeats Renslayer again. Clearly the superior Loki. I mean, again, cementing it. And then Renslayer says, do it. Meaning kill me. And Sylvie says, no, you're going to tell me everything.
Thomas,
credits. Yes.
Sorry, one second. I'm just trying to find where was Terry's comment? Oh, here we go. This question that Terry had in my mind, it's answered because like she knows, she's like, do it, right? Because she knows she's not gonna die, right? Or is that maybe I'm off there, but like to me, it's like she's not scared of getting pruned because she knows where it would lead to and maybe how to get out potentially.
Okay.
She also wasn't sad when Mobius got pruned. Like she was kind of like, "Aw, that sucks." Okay, what were we doing?
I totally read that differently. That's when I read the most emotion from her because when it happened, she's like she's flexing the sternocleidos, and she like takes the moment. She takes a hard moment where she's like, "I really didn't want to do that," and that's when then she says, "I think that's when she mentions find Hunter B-15." Like at that moment, that's when she just gets angry because that relationship's so interesting. Now I'm gonna rewatch it and see if I read it see if I view it through your lens.
Yeah, I think she knows it'd be hard to get him back, but he's not like dead.
Yeah.
She's not coming back to the TVA, that's for sure.
She's definitely second in command, but she's not the puppet master. She's the executive assistant to the puppet master. She knows everything. She can do the bidding, but she's not the puppet master.
And what I find interesting too is it seems like so there was a previous judge of the TVA and it wasn't her. Like she almost wasn't first in command previously. She was just a Minuteman.
Yeah.
Just like B-15 and C-20. But then she kind of got elevated to that level, it seems like, which I thought was interesting. It's like with the TVA working differently, like time wise, I'm surprised there's even like positions like move like high like promotions, I guess is the simple way of putting it, where it's like, why do they need to do that? Because they pull these people directly like basically out of time and then just put them in a place where there basically is no time. And like, why are there promotions and things like that? Like, wouldn't everything run perfectly? I don't know. So that makes me where I would take that is it makes me think that because in the comics, Kang and Renslayer have a emotional connection, maybe Kang suddenly took a liking to her and then made her his second in command, and who knows what happened to the previous like judge.
I'm kind of expecting a flashback scene explaining that a little bit. I mean, not like a huge one, but I think there's going to be an explanation we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at this point, it feels like it because there's 2 episodes left. And, like, what else do they have to explore? We know the TVA is full of shit. And, like, that was the whole big thing. In episode 1, everyone's freaking out, like, who are the TVA? And I still have that question, right? Even just what confuses me, it's like, it's all smoke and mirrors, sort of. Because they still can jump through time and space and hold on to these infinity stones. So it's like, it's not like they're completely full of it. There's still some crazy power happening here. And something like really like futuristic where it's like, we need an explanation for how it's working, even though we know that they're built off of just a bunch of variants and we don't know who their leader is. And the timekeepers were just a myth and just kind of a story they conjured up. So there's still so much to learn. All right, Thomas, we got to finish out the plot. We only got a little bit left.
So I begin to type my tweet because, you know, it's roughly 3 a.m. now. I've already cooked breakfast. I've ate it while watching. And, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and read it really fast. Loki episode 4 is the twistiest episode of all. Action, drama, suspense, and, of course, style. Full thoughts tomorrow on LTA Podcasting at 6 p.m. Eastern with post-credit scene? Fucking post-credit scene. So we're going to dive into it. Opens up. Loki says, "Is this hell?" Subtitles on, spelled canonically correct. H-E-L. Nice.
Yeah.
Am I dead? Not yet, but you will be unless you come with us. And who do we see? I should have had this more teed up, David. You came in too hot, baby. But it's okay. We see some variants that we know, we love. If you're a fan of the comics and you've read them all.
In an interesting location, too, might I add.
An interesting location, which is very important. We get 3 fucking Lokis, and the one thing...
And a gator.
Listen, we'll talk about the gator in a moment, David. We get 3 variant Loki straight out of the comics, and this is where the mid-credit scene, I was like, oh my god, and I literally jumped on the floor in front of the TV and was like, oh my god, what's it gonna be? Am I dead? Is this hell? Okay. And then I'm like, who's he talking to? Who's he talking to? And it flips, and the music hits, boom, and I'm like,
the music is so good.
No.
And I'm like, don't wake people up. You got to go to work. Don't wake people up. You got to go to work. Don't wake people up. You got to go to work. So we get from left to right, boastful Loki, played by Diobia Opare. I definitely messed up the last name. I apologize. Kid Loki, played by Jack Veal. Kid looks very familiar. I didn't get the actor for the stunt gator. Didn't get their name. I should have.
Gertrude,
also,
the gator.
It could be a CGI gator. Hard to tell.
Nah, real gator or bust.
Yes. David's a fan of gators. Gross. Really, I'm going to go ahead and just say Loki Gator. I like the name Loki Gator.
Yes,
I do believe Leah said that.
But I stole it from Bethanne. She gets.
You stole it from Bethanne. Okay, look at that.
Alligator Loki is way too fancy. We're near the Carolinas. It's a Loki Gator.
Loki Gator.
Oh yeah, it's Loki Gator for sure. But most important of all, there was a lot of things I wished for, but this is the one that I didn't want to wish for too much, but I was willing to. Classic Loki, played by Richard E. Fucking Grant, man. Oh my gosh. I should have used the censor button so much more today. And honestly, kids, I'm not very sorry. I can't lie. There's too much hype. There was too much plot. Okay, now we did an ad earlier. We're not doing another ad. We're jumping straight into it. There's questions we have. Thoughts on this post-credit scene, first off. We'll go.
Oh, okay.
You want to start?
Yes, I want to start.
Guest and ladies first, David. I was going to go Leah, Bethanne, David. I had to make sure I looked in the right spot.
I'll wait. Leah, you
it's
go.
Like
first.
Hollywood Squares.
I have not read the comics, so I have absolutely no idea what's happening, but I'm here for it. But I also realized today I was listening to your last week episode and I was like, variant, like comic book variants, and I was like, that's really dumb that it took me 3 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah, I also like haven't read a lot of the comics, but like I'm in like the articles about it that kind of give me, unfortunately, the cliff notes of it, and I'm just like, I'm really pumped because I have been waiting for a multiverse, and I'm so glad that we're finally getting there. And I'm really excited to see where it's going, especially for Loki Gator. Like, I got so excited for Loki Gator. I don't know where he fits in the timeline. I don't know where he fits in the comments. I'm just glad he exists. And I hate alligators, but I love him.
He's the wink of the Loki verse.
He is the wink of the Loki.
Yes, wink!
He is the wink.
Yes!
Major wink energy. Major wink energy.
Love it. Yeah,
that's perfect.
Let's
honestly,
go.
I was more focused for whatever reason on like where they were and like what is this instead of like, because I write for the direct.com, so I'm kind of like locked into like rumors and like casting and stuff. So I knew Richard D. Grant was going to be in it. We kind of knew that a kid Loki was going to be in it at some point. Boastful Loki, that threw me for a loop. But like, and the Gator, obviously. But I kind of like knew that they were coming eventually. So I was the costumes are great. Obviously, like the costumes are really good. Like the Richard E. Grant one is like the original like Loki style, I believe. And I think
yeah, this original.
So good, which is a cool little thing where it's like, is he the original Loki? Is that who that's supposed to be? Which I love. But anyway, I was so affixed with, okay, so what is this? Like, where are we? Are they like, and
where?
It's like, it's New York, and we've seen a shot from the trailers where that building on the right upper hand corner is the Avengers Tower, I believe. Where it's
that's
like
Avengers Tower.
And where, what did I say, Thomas, that someone sent me where I thought it was a really good idea from them?
Limbo.
Yes, thank you. Where they're in limbo, which is kind of like an in-between state, I suppose. And I think that'd be a really fascinating place to explore there because there's connections to Kang as well with Limbo, which I think would be a fun thing to explore. I don't know. That's my biggest question heading forward is where are they and how do they get out? And like, what, like, is it something that TVA made themselves, like to like kind of imprison people, or is it somewhere they found where they're putting them there, right? It's less of like disintegrating them, but it's like using the TemPad essentially to put them in a place in time and space that's deserted, destroyed. Maybe it's way in the future. Maybe that's just New York, like 1,000 years in the future. Who knows?
Right.
What do you think?
They can't be on a timeline because they'd mess everything up. So they've got to be somewhere.
Yeah, they've got to be outside of space and time.
But who knows? You know, the thing is, they make their own rules, right? Like their little branch of the sacred timeline. It's all their kind of like creation, whereas like only the TVA is trying to keep that one timeline. And if they have little filters on, like, all right, don't worry about, you know, that timeline where you throw everyone that gets pruned. And the thing is, in theory, what this opens up to is that pretty much everyone that's gone through there, through the TVA as a variant and gets pruned is in some sort of like Elseworld limbo state. And I hope that the series ends with it all kind of exploding and then kind of getting sent back to their own realities. And all these like thousands of different realities exist then. But
the Pandora's box of Lokis just opens.
Yes.
Pretty much already has, right? Like, holy, I mean, it's so cool.
That means maybe one day they'll hire me as Thor. Thor, son of Dale, protector of the Nine Realms, 749 years old. Don't forget it. I killed Thanos. That was the wrong move. Come on. Okay. I like that, Dave. You're thinking, where is this? More than anything. That's a good point. I just didn't give a shit. I was like, what other Lokis are we getting? which we see the shot in the trailer where Loki goes, "What did you expect?" And then everyone turns on him. All those people theoretically could be just Loki, because the only person, and this is where I'm at, I'm not sure if everyone who gets pruned goes to that place.
Okay.
That's a question I have. Is it the same for everyone? Because it's quantum. This is now we're getting into what I think this is, because I had the epiphany while you guys were speaking about time and space. The quantum realm looks very similar to what happens when you get pruned, what happens when you travel through the Rainbow Bridge, and when you go through time, you go through that. And Einstein-Rosen bridge is not that different. So what if the ability to travel like great space or to use a certain amount of energy, if you do it on a person, it'll transport them anywhere. That is what quantum energy does. Same way with how Ghost was phasing in and out of things.
Yeah.
And could not stay in our reality. I just thought about that. Fuck. I'm literally winging this entire situation. So we utilize the quantum energy and we send them to some other place that could, much like the TVA, exist inside the quantum realm. But it's a place that they are locked in on and cannot get out of.
Yeah.
Would that be limbo? I mean, that could be limbo. It could be purgatory.
Another kind of time prison.
I mean, I think your theory is most likely right. If I'm thinking now, I think like my brain is thinking more from like, you know, like an Oscar writing or screenwriting. I almost want to explore, is the TVA a sham? Like, is it just some kind of like made up building? Like, and the whole thing is a Wizard of Oz and behind it is something else. And what if like the world they're in is the actual land where the TVA resigns? I mean, that's very unlikely, but that's where my brain goes to. Yes. The TVA is not the whole building's not what it says it is. What they're seeing is not what they say it is. We already know they're all variants. So we know that's a lie. Take the building. What is it actually? What is that whole cityscape?
I still stand by the TVA cityscape is that city we see in the quantum realm in Ant-Man. Or is it Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. You see a city in a bubble.
Or the quantum realm a little bit.
And it has similar architecture as a civil engineer. Yes, that's the route I'm going with this argument. I think it's the same.
Well, and the thing, so Thomas, to that point, like to that theory, I feel like one of the best pieces of evidence is that Kang is confirmed to be an Ant-Man quantum mania. Like that to me is like the biggest point of evidence where we know for a fact he has been hired to be in that movie. Jonathan Majors as that character in a movie called Quantum Mania. So it seems like that could definitely be the connection. I'm all in on that one, Thomas.
I legitimately just realized that Multiverse of Madness and Quantum Mania are not that different from Macho Madness and Hulkamania. And this is like the biggest reach of a stretch. Now I'm wondering if Quantum Mania and Multiverse of Madness are somehow directly connected.
Maybe. I think Kang could be that through line. Who knows, right? I mean,
Kang.
We know he's here. Like that's the thing where some people like I've seen some people on the internet talking about how is it far-fetched for Kang? Because last week, Thomas, I think us and Julia, I brought up the point where it's like, is Kang our new Mephisto? Like, we're talking like no one said anything about Kang, yet we all think he's gonna be in it, and we all keep talking about him constantly. And it's like, are we all gonna be disappointed when he doesn't show up? And that could still be true, but also with Mephisto, we didn't know he was coming at all. It was just pure speculation. At least with this, we know there is an actor for the part in a later film. And this show, Sif was just in this episode. Anything can happen without us knowing. So I think at this point, it's got to be Kang, in my opinion. Like, who else is pulling the strings? Like, even the whole Renslayer connection, it all seems to be lining up for that, especially when we know he's going to be in a bigger picture later on. But if it connects, like that's where I'm losing it too, Thomas, where you talked about quantum, because it feels like this series is going to connect to Spider-Man and Multiverse of Madness because of the multiversal tie-in, and they've talked about it at a bunch in the show and how the TVA is the one timeline. You figure that by the end there will be not just one timeline, there'll be a bunch of multiverses causing chaos, right, wherever that line was. But where does that tie into the quantum realm and Kang? You know, it's like, is it all connected? That, like, I don't know, specifically, I guess, or at this point, you know, the real puppet master is Kevin Feige, and we're all just playing in this sandbox, right? Like, we don't really know what's going on, but I'm excited to find out.
Didn't Kevin Feige say like he has 20 years of Marvel laid out? Like he said that around 2011.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that. He's like, yeah, we've got it laid out, and they have a scroll that they roll, a scroll, not a scroll, my bad, a scroll that they roll on a 10-foot table or something like that. It takes up 2 8-foot tables, and it's thousands of years in the past in the MCU and thousands of years in the future. And he's like, yeah, he's got it all mapped out.
It's crazy.
Like, this is when this happens in this time period, this happens in that time period. And all I'm saying is I cannot wait for nonlinear storytelling, because Star Wars has been doing it for decades. And I can't fucking tell you how good the High Republic is. I'm almost done with Rising Storm. Hard Star Wars tangent. Holy shit. Holy shit. Let me just say, there's a terrorist attack that happens. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's a terrorist attack. The Nihil invade a place, and it is holy shit.
I haven't gotten my copy yet, and I need to go get it because I've only heard amazing things. To.
Oh, the music! I'm pretty certain that they're writing new music for these, by the way, because they're so good. And there's like certain points I'm like, I've never heard this piece of music anywhere in Star Wars, and I'm everywhere in Star Wars.
They probably are. That's something they would do.
Yeah, and that's what they pump into those audiobooks and the production value. Back to thank you. Any idea? This one comes from Juan Rodriguez. Do any of you have any idea what happened to B-15 after she came in and tosses Sylvie a sword? I can only damn hope she went back in time to a point where she could live her life and be happy.
Yeah. I thought she got like knocked out at some point. I have to go rewatch, honestly, because when I saw it comment roll in, I was like, yeah, what happens to B-15 at the very end? She's in the fighting room and in like the timekeeper hold, but we never really see what happens to her.
We see nothing else. All like she says that, and then maybe the timekeepers leave, but I think they attack the variants and Loki and Sylvie. Damn it!
So that just reminded me, Thomas. I want to bring this up now. Renslayer. Okay. We talked about a lot of different things. I want to talk about Renslayer and what she knows. I feel like it's a good thing, because does she know everything? Because here's the thing that's throwing me off. You'd think, you know, it almost seems like she's not phased when the timekeeper's head is decapitated and she just keeps going on. But earlier, she goes into like the timekeeper's like keep or whatever you want to say, the little like dungeon, and it's like she's gonna go talk to them. So it's like in that moment, it seems like they're real and that she's going to go actually talk to them. But I guess maybe she's not. I don't know.
Think of it like this. She is Kylo Ren going to talk to Snoke, who's controlled by Palpatine. And then we will never speak of the sequel trilogy again.
But Kylo didn't know that Snoke was Palpatine. That's what I'm saying. So you think so that your analogy is...
My bad. I see you. It's more of if he knew, but like that's the power set up.
Okay. So you think that she was talking to the timekeepers,
knowing she's talking to Kang,
like a telephone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a what?
So they're a mouthpiece for this phone.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. 3-headed mouthpiece. Wonderful. Oh, that reminds me. 3-headed Sphinx. What a fun game in improv. I had questions, and then we addressed the questions earlier already. My thoughts. Anybody got questions? Because I really love the limbo idea, and I have like a really deep prediction, but I don't want to go to the prediction part just yet. What are some things that stood out for MCU impact, or like where do the fucking TVA sleep?
I still want to know.
Do want to know? I was like, I didn't think about that, and I'm pissed I didn't. Because where would they sleep? That's a thing I would ask as an admin. Like, where do they sleep? Why? I need to know what his bed is like. Maybe he's a pissed off guy because he doesn't have a mattress.
You know what also bothers me about the TVA? What grinds my gears? Well, the Nazis, yes. But like in the second scene or the second episode, I believe, first or second, Owen Wilson's eating a salad, but there's no dressing on that salad. Why are they just eating lettuce? This is what bothers me. This is what I think about.
Maybe they don't know that things exist. They only know the things that exist within the TVA, and maybe they don't have salad dressing.
They only carry discontinued products.
But then they're just eating lettuce. Or is it just like maybe the chocolate milk that Loki pours on, maybe that was supposed to be the salad dressing?
Ew.
I don't know.
So actually, people who were alive during the time to actually remember these brands, like Josta apparently is a real brand. And then they have adult juice boxes. So what they've been using is real brands that are no longer real, like no longer continued, and the copyright is kind of up in the air. So Kablooey. Kablooey, I think, was made up. That was the only. It was a reference to the comic book with the little kid and his tiger.
Okay.
I think.
Calvin and Hobbes.
Maybe not Calvin and Hobbes then. I don't. Yeah, it feels like a Calvin. I remember it looked like Calvin. We'll go with that. But Kablooey was like a reference to a specific comic strip that Michael Waldron really loved.
Right.
He tweeted about it. I seen it because everybody in the direct liked it. So of course I was going to see it. Where do they sleep, David? It's haunting me. David, do you have any other questions that are like haunting your mind? Is it just time to jump into predictions?
Yeah, I think it's predictions time. My biggest question, like I said earlier, was like, where's that limbo, purgatory, doomsday, apocalypse, New York area? Like, I just want to know that. That's like my big question right now. And obviously, the TVA. More on that, because like it's fake, and parts of it are fake, but parts are really still very real and very powerful. And I just kind of want to learn more. I'm happy we got these answers this early on, where there's 2 more episodes to kind of discover the rest. But predictions time. Yeah, I'm ready for some predictions.
Okay. I'm sorry. David, have you been on the internet at all today?
Yes. Why?
So have you seen the promo art?
The promo art for what?
This promo art.
Whoa.
What?
Yes, man. I was texting you this earlier.
Oh, is that what I was
Lego
like?
Thing. Yes.
This is from the Lego thing, this specific promo?
Yeah. It's like on the sides. And it's also like a black suit with like gold trim.
Yeah, that's what I noticed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I actually like that suit. Apparently, it seems like I heard some people saying like it seems like we might get a few suits in this new movie, but also that Lego isn't always like, you never sometimes know, because also Lego is releasing Far From Home Lego sets in celebration of No Way Home. But yeah, that earlier Lego set, like the one I sent you, Thomas, the article about it, like he's in the Sanctum Sanctorum or whatever, the Doctor Strange's place with Wong and MJ and Peter he's wearing this suit, like that's like his little Lego suit he's in. Yeah, it's like an amalgamation of Iron Spider and his latest one, it seems like.
Yeah, which I really love. All right, enough of this. Enough Spider-Man. I've had enough pictures of Spider-Man.
I already miss it.
So really quick, some quick news things. Sylvie, the Sophia, where's it at? It was just in front of me. Sofia Di Martino mentioned that there's a bunch more to discover about everyone in a response to a question of getting more backstory on Sylvie. And she says things are going to probably get even weirder going forward. And as we know, Hiddleston had said episode 4 and 5, the two together is his favorite because it expands what everything can do. I'm also, where is it? Here we go. Potential stuff here. So Loki actress addresses the Kang the Conqueror fan theories. There was a lot of quotes. I was gonna read it, but I didn't have enough time to prep. Loki, here it is. This is the last news article. This is quotes I have to read. This is Loki director reveals how the pandemic changed the romance between Sylvie and Loki. It's a show about identity, and it put the God of Mischief, obviously, on a different journey. Here it is. Who's a better match for Loki than himself? Right? The whole show is about identity. It's about him, and he's on a very different path, and he is on a different journey. He sees things in Sylvie that he is like, oh, I've been there. I know what you feel. But she's like, well, I don't feel that way. And I think that was kind of the kind of fun thing about it. She is him, but she's not him. They've had such different life experiences. So just from an identity perspective, it was interesting to dig into that. And they said, as we were cutting it together in the studio, everyone was, oh, this relationship is really cool. Let's dig into that more. We went back to filming. When we went back to filming, we added it or tweaked scripts basically to emphasize it. So sounds like we have official declaration that Loki's got all these feelings, but Sylvie's like, fuck you, bro. It's like, you're the more toxic version of me. I'm out. Prediction time. Leah, do you have predictions for not just episode 5, but the going forward in general? Where do you think it's going?
I honestly have no clue because everything that happened this week I thought was going to happen in the finale. So
fair.
There's still 2 whole hours or 2-ish hours left. Anything could happen. I really do hope, though, that Mobius and Loki are reunited more than anything. They need closure.
Yeah,
I need
it can
closure.
definitely be more of like predictions and also like what you want to see too. Because that's a big part.
I want to see those two be reunited. I want more backstory on everybody, but especially Sylvie and Renslayer.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen to the TVA? Are there other timelines? Because that came up today. Like, there is the sacred timeline, but are there still these other like parallel timelines going off that no one's monitoring? I have no actual theories for what's going to happen, though.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be, as far as for actual theories, I think Kang is definitely coming in. I think it's going to be almost like a Thanos end credit scene of Avengers. He's just going to show his face for 1 second, and then all of a sudden, that's the end of the series.
That. Yeah.
And as far as for just like the next immediate episodes, I think there's going to be more explanation of Renslayer. I think there's going to be more explanation of the TVA and what it actually is, because I do think it's a sham of some sort, and there's something else underneath it. And I do think Loki's going to come back to Sylvie, but I don't think it's going to be in the way that we're all hoping for. I think it's almost going to be in a tragic way to almost say goodbye. That's just the vibes I get. I don't think it's going to be this happy reunion.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Almost like a Vision, like
no.
I honestly think it's going to be this like very tragic, like he's going to channel into something to say goodbye and then head out.
Can't handle that again.
I know, that's where I think it's going.
Yeah. I think specifically, like if I'm doing episode 5 predictions, I think it's really going to be focused on Loki and all the other Lokis in that world, wherever they are, that like limbo state or whatever it ends up being. I think it's going to be like almost like episode 3 was like all on Lamentus 1. I feel like episode 4 is really going to be on that area, focusing on Loki. And then I think maybe at the end, we get back to Sylvie and Renslayer, because we gotta, like, prediction wise, like, we gotta think about where we are. Sylvie's got Renslayer, and I feel like that may be where we get some flashbacks, or Renslayer, like, what's Renslayer's move, right? Like, does she have some sort of like out? Because maybe she pushes herself into the pruning stick or something, like, and she's like, yeah, like, I'm out of here, deuces. Like, I don't know. I feel like next episode specifically, though, it's going to be a lot of Loki and all these other Lokis, and them, like, and a lot of explanation as to, like, what's going on and how they got there, and like more about the TVA maybe, and almost maybe more broad scale, like, about the timelines in general, because it seems like those Lokis are kind of their own little group. Like, they've been there a while, they know what's going on a little bit. I don't know. The rest of the show, predictions wise, I genuinely don't have many, because I feel like it could go so many different directions. I will say I do think that Loki and Sylvie will both survive, because I feel like they may do a season 2. I'm not certain on that, and and at this point, I feel like that line where they said they don't die is significant, and I feel like that they simply do not, right? Mm-hmm. And they could still have like more adventures after this, because it is only 6 episodes, right? But I do believe, like, I've been saying this since day one, it's a hope, it's a dream, and it's a prediction that I hope that by the end of the series, the TVA is just no more, and that springs. Whatever happens, the ramifications of the show springs the multiverse of madness that we then have to deal with later, where it's like, what is happening? Like, there's some sort of like holes in time and space that need to be repaired that Doctor Strange has to deal with. So those are some pretty broad strokes predictions. But at this point, it's really hard to say anything specific, because there's so much could happen. All right, Thomas, I want to hear yours. You're the prediction guy.
You just blew my mind.
With what?
You just blew my mind with that, because I you know me, I'm always thinking fourth dimensionally. So I was trying to figure out where Loki and Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and WandaVision all kind of connect. And then I remembered the post-credit scene of WandaVision's been changed to add that shadow and a little bit, and we think it's to match up with Doctor Strange too. So Doctor Strange is going to Wanda. And it seems like she's set up to be the villain, but it also kind of seems like she's set up to be taking the fall in the movie, right? It seems to be that way. That's how we're all projecting it. What if she only gets brought into the story because Doctor Strange goes to her, and that's what we see in WandaVision? And at the same time that's happening, it opens up, and that's when she starts hearing, Mom?
Right.
And I think those variants are only possible because whatever Loki is about to do, whatever it is, and I'm hoping that it leads to a season 2. And I'll tell you right now, I hope season 2 is a bunch of Lokis traveling through time. 100%. If you've not watched Legends of Tomorrow, go watch that, and then imagine every character is a version of a Loki, and you will understand why that shit is gold. Written by Michael Waldron. Think of Rick and Morty, but with Lokis.
I love it. I'm just excited for the dialogue between all the Lokis.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
you know, like whenever RDJ and Benedict was announced, right? And everyone wanted them to make a joke, a reference to Sherlock, like a no shit Sherlock joke.
Yes.
I think we're going to get that kind of content from hearing all the Lokis together.
I like that.
I really like that. How do I think Loki is going to do it? So if the Nexus event is 2 Lokis dying, or is it that, or is it the romantic situation? Hard to say. I think it's dying. But whatever the Nexus event is, it's just the variant energy of multiple reality. I think if multiple realities being in the same time and space on the timeline. There's a theory from DC, and it doesn't really correlate in Marvel, but sometimes it's a good trick to utilize. Only one variant, if you will, from the after Crisis on Infinite Earths. Only one person from across the multiverse can live in a reality on one Earth, in one universe, because they have the same biological situation, but at the same time they have a different energetic connection to reality. Here I'm thinking that all of the Lokis are going to do whatever it is, and that's what's going to be the issue with bringing the TVA down. And I'm wondering if the TVA gets cut off by whomever it is just to maintain control of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, will the TVA just be sacrificed?
Right.
Like S.H.I.E.L.D. in a way, to rebuild something else.
To rebuild, exactly. Because, I mean, the TVA failed. Like, if this is to set up Kang, and it all goes through, and it's like, maybe this entire thing is planned, and that's why all these Lokis are doing this. Maybe he's trying to break open the sacred timeline. Son of a bitch! Maybe he's trying to break open the sacred timeline so that he can maintain control over all the other Kangs and be the only Kang in the universe because he's a Nexus being. And then that's how we get to Secret Wars. And what he said was not wrong long ago to some people, because he could have pulled those people from the future in the multiversal war. Because I feel like that Secret Wars, which is what they're pointing at, or the multiverse of madness, or whatever it may be, is going to lead to something on the scale of the snap, the blip. It's going to change everything on a bigger level, because that's just that's what you do. There are layers, donkey, layers to comic book culture. So I truly think that's where we're going to go. I have a very bad feeling that Sylvie dies, though.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's probably because I really love her, and they often kill a character I love right as I'm like right there on the cusp of just like, yes, then it's no. So I feel like she's going to die because everyone fucking loves her. Season 2, secondary idea. Tom Hiddleston and Jack Veal do Loki and Kid Loki.
Yes.
That's it.
I mean, it's literally just Rick and Morty, but with Loki.
Yes.
You're drunk. No, I'm just full. I'm full. Yes, I get it.
Does that make Loki Gator Jerry?
Or
I hope so.
Probably.
Or a Meeseeks or something like that.
Mr. Poopy Pants.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Poopy Butthole. Yeah. Definitely it. I was thinking of Summer, like sometimes they go on Loki Gator goes on a mission, sometimes it doesn't.
That's
Does
true.
Loki Gator talk? Questions we probably should not be asking.
He makes like a Perry Platypus noise, like a
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a real gator, it would just be like
Wait. So like we have a Perry the Platypus alligator situation where he doesn't have his crown on. He's just a normal alligator. But then there's a villain that's like, oh, it's just an alligator. And then he puts on his little crown. It's like, look, a gator. I didn't know that was you.
That would be gold.
Yes.
So perfect.
Oh, that's chef's kiss. Brilliant. All right, that's it. We've wrapped this up. Okay, here's two very important questions from the comments. One from Terry McIver. Are all of the TVA agents human? It does seem that way, perhaps because the human mind can be easily manipulated. Interesting.
Everyone except the front desk guy. He's a god.
He's Kree.
He's Kree.
If he's a god, then watch out for Gore. That's a good question. They all seem to be, and I do agree because you can easily manipulate them. What if it's just because humans are often the idiots who break time? Well, no, not true. We saw the Skrull. So they do at least arrest Skrulls.
Yeah. And they had the mention of like vampires and titans and stuff. So maybe, I like Terry's idea where it's like they're more simple-minded, I guess.
Yeah.
It's because we only speak basic. This comes from Swordsman12Z, the husband. Do you think we will see Owen Wilson on a jet ski? And I'm gonna be honest.
I hope so.
I
If
hope so.
I'm gonna riot. I'm gonna lose my shit, and it'll this is what I'll feel like.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor.
If we don't get Owen Wilson on a jet ski, they have failed us as a show. Such a over the top fucking stupid idea. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the point of the show where we have to pump ourselves. Ladies, where can everyone find you on social media, the She Will Rock Yous, and your own personals if you like that?
You can find everything at shewillrockyou.com. But if you want specifics, Instagram is She Will Rock You Podcast. Twitter is She Will Rock, the letter U Pod. Facebook is She Will Rock You Podcast. We are everywhere that podcasts are found. Usually we come up if you just type in She Will, which is pretty handy.
Sorry, forgot to turn that off.
You can find me on Instagram at LeahElizabeth.j. On Twitter, Leah_ElizabethJ. My handle was taken. Sorry. Bethanne.
You can find me on Instagram at Bethanne Tarpley. Don't search for me anywhere else because I don't really care about those social media platforms except for Instagram. I do have a ghost TikTok account, and if you find it, I will be very impressed.
They'll never find it.
They'll never find it.
It'll be tough. TikTok is not my forte. David, where can everyone find you on the social media?
Yeah, you guys can find me at my name, David Thompson, on Facebook, at David J. Thompson on TikTok and Instagram. And go follow me on Twitter, guys. It's where I'm most active and like to talk about all these fun, nerdy movie things at David Thompson on Twitter. That's 2 A's in the David. Thomas, what about you?
You can find all of my stuff simply at linktree.com/TCRochesterACT. That's TCRochesterACT, in case you don't know how to spell, which I don't. There you can find my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, this show, my website, IMDb, etc., etc. Also, my TikTok is on there. I have so many followers comparative to how many videos I've posted. So it's happening, but I'll take it. And of course, as you all know, because you're watching one right now, we're doing Loki specials, and we have made it to episode 4. I should have updated this, and I totally forgot. In case you were wondering what you're watching right now, at the very end, you're watching Loki special number 4. Next week, we have not determined the time nor the date because Loki episode 5 comes out. If it's at 7, it would be something along the lines of 29 hours before Black Widow will premiere on the East Coast, if I did that math right. So, fucking hey, man. We will have that figured out hopefully in the next couple of days. Your boy's got to get off of work because they booked me when I asked not to be. Sad face. However, we'll be back July 15th. That is guaranteed show date for a TBD time to do Loki 6. 5 will be with the Direct Kleinfeld or Kleino the Dino, which is brilliant. And Liam, the hill to die on, the king of the hills to die on, Crowley, will be on the finale of Loki, and I'll probably cry because what the fuck am I going to watch after? I mean, obviously, Bad Batch, which I know that there's only one person on my podcast that watches the awesome animated Star Wars series, David! David, remember when I said I was going to have some help when with Star Wars Rebels? Leah, you've seen Rebels, right?
Yeah.
Can you pitch Rebels to David? Because he's breaking my heart.
I don't think I'm worth it. I don't think I'm worth the breath.
I really hated it at first. I hated it. I'm not gonna watch this show. This is stupid. I hate Ezra. Why am I watching this? Why is everyone hype it up? Once you get through the first 6 episodes, it gets so much better. And it's Clone Wars, and then it's Rebels, and then it's Bad Batch, and then I haven't watched Resistance yet. But Rebels is really good, and I did cry when it ended. So
okay. All right, that's been taken in. I'll consider that now.
But do not judge it by the first couple episodes because I hated it.
Right.
Honestly, David, I'm still telling you, hop in when Thrawn gets there, bro. Like, who the fuck cares? Thrawn is so... I love a good bit of art. And
I'm on the last Thrawn book, and I love Thrawn now.
The last Thrawn book? Which Thrawn? Like,
I'm on Treason.
I binged all 3 of those books in a week and a half.
I just finished Alliance last night. It was so good. So good.
Right. Do you audiobook or read?
Read.
Because read. That's tough. I can't do that.
She's a speed reader.
Let's look at the
truly is
amount of books.
I was a speed reader, but I get tangent town too much. Even in the audiobook. Like today I had to turn off. I gotta turn the book off, dude. I can't even focus. I keep having to rewind 5 minutes every 5 minutes. So I'm like, damn it, I missed it again. So it'd be like that sometimes. But I've gone through like 19 audiobooks since September. Most of which were on Brian's book club on Return of the Pod because
it's a good place to be.
It's a great place to be. Shout out Return of the Pod. This is how we met. If it weren't for Return of the Pod and their old show, which is dead. We won't mention that. We wouldn't be here. Like this crossover, this multiverse would not have trained over here. So shout out to them. David, recommendations.
You
got anything?
I've got a funny one. I didn't say what I've been watching lately, but me and my girlfriend have been watching what is it called on Netflix? Too Hot to Handle. It's this like stupid island dating show. It's so ridiculous, but it's funny, and like all the episodes are up on Netflix now. So I guess I recommend that if you just want to like watch some nonsense for a few hours. It's pretty funny for like a dating show. Like it's like less serious and like really goofy for like The Bachelorette or something. It's like completely ridiculous. I like the editing. It's nice. It's like a Netflix show because like there's no commercials and it's not a network television show. It's like it's got good audio, good kind of narration. It's a funny little goofy show for sure. But I'd recommend it. It's been pretty fun. It's been watching the last like 2 days. We're trying to finish it soon.
How many episodes?
I think there's 10 of them up on Netflix. There's 2 seasons. It's the second season just dropped. That's what I've been watching.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Never heard of that shit. Bethanne, what recommendations for our audience do you have?
I am going to recommend the YouTube channel Defunct Land. His name's Kevin Perger. He does a great video essay series on just old Disney attractions, old Disney, like understanding the parks and why they were developed. He did one recently on like the hand sandwich, which I didn't know was a thing. It's like a little cone with like a sandwich meat in it. It was the most interesting thing I've ever seen. But anyway, he does such a great deep dive on things that are just like not even in my purview with Disney knowledge. He did one about he did a movie recently, documentary movie about Helix, which was the band that used to play at Tomorrowland in the 1980s, and interviews them and everything. So it's great. He does such a great job with his video essays. So I highly recommend it.
Leah.
I'm going to recommend Ragnarok, not the MCU movie, but the Norwegian TV show on Netflix. It is so good. It's a modern retelling of just like Norse mythology and the Ragnarok myth. And it's incredible. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. No one else I know has watched it, but we binged both seasons like in 3 days each because it's just so well written. You forget that it's in Norwegian and that you're having to read subtitles. The acting is incredible. The cinematography is incredible. The scenery is beautiful because it's filmed in Norway. Highly recommend if you like Norse mythology.
You know how many times I've been recommended that show?
You should watch it.
Genuinely, every time I'm like, okay, I'll add it to the list because I have a long list of shows to watch because I just work all the time. So I'm going to recommend, like I said earlier, The Mysterious Benedict Society on Disney Plus. Mr. Benedict is a weird guy and he like recruits kids through these. So the first like half of the first episode is just kids taking tests and they're like riddles. And I fucking love riddles. And so like he reads, they say, make sure you read, like they were like, here are the instructions. Make sure you read all the questions carefully and answer every question before time ends. And only one kid read all the questions, like read it and then went through. It was like, wait a minute, and the questions had the answers to other questions in them all the way through, which is my favorite way of test taking. I love a good Easter egg, which has saved me plenty of times on plenty of tests across my academic career. So shout out to that little nugget that they threw in there. And then you be like meet 4 people in the intro. Then they have this weird, like, it's so eclectic, but the kids are brilliant. The actors are great. And the story is just, it's a giant mystery. So it's like the emergency is happening. You're like, what's the emergency? And then they go through kitty.
Is that Misty?
Yeah, this is Misty.
Oh,
Her full name's Mystique, as of X-Men.
Bravo! Oh, I didn't have the sound effects turned on. Bravo! Yes, flourish. So I highly recommend that. I think they come out on Fridays, which I'm really starting to wonder if they're going to put more kid stuff on the Fridays to go through the weekend. With Bad Batch, which also comes out tomorrow, which is I'm super stoked for because, oh my god, I think we're getting Boba Fett's rise of power.
I hope so.
I can't wait. David, you should watch Mysterious Benedict Society. You watch High School Musical, and that baffles me. I think you genuinely like this. It's smart writing that's written intelligently, but for kids to understand. Similar to Loki. They take really complex, like certain things that are really complex and make no sense, and then they explain it like right away. So one of the tests was get across the room without stepping on a square. That was the rules, and you're in a checkerboard. But one kid, everyone had different idea, or without your hands, your feet touching a square is what it was, or your hands and feet or something like that. So one kid crawled, one person put up a chain and walked, or like put up a tightrope, walked it, and one kid just looked and was like, "Oh, walk a straight line. They're all rectangles," and walked. So it's like little different ways. It's fascinating. And then you find out at the end of episode 2 who the bad guy is, and it's like, oh shit, that was unexpected. Okay, now I understand why Benedict is the way he is. Highly recommend it. Tony Hale is playing 2 characters, maybe 3, maybe 11. I don't know. They put him in makeup. And if you've ever watched Sons of Anarchy, raise your hand if you have, because I don't know anyone who has. Other than
I haven't. No.
Fuck. Remember the Titans. Just
who's seen Remember the Titans?
The movie?
Yeah.
No.
Who's seen
the movie?
movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
of course.
Leah.
I referenced it in Marvin Gaye episode.
Yeah, I just played along.
How could you do this to us?
That's the only sports movie I like. That's it.
Remember it's a great one. It's a classic.
We are the Titans, the mighty Titans. It came out like the same year I started playing football. So
that's cool.
Chef's kiss. The linebacker, Sunshine. Listen, I hate that name because they called me that, and I was like, I'm not sunshiny enough to be Sunshine. Now, I'm very sunshiny enough to be Sunshine. The linebacker who gets hit in the car, who gets in the car accident, he plays. Spoiler alert, if you've never seen Revenge of the Titans, Revenge of the Titans. Remember the Titans. Freudian slip, do it. He plays Opie in Sons of Anarchy, but he plays a guy named Milligan in this show, and no idea what his game is. All I know is he had amnesia and he was being tortured when he woke up from amnesia, and I'm like, fuck. I don't want to spoil anything for this show, but the emergency is essentially subliminal messages being spoken by children through multimedia, television, and radio, but it's down to a low level, but it's done just enough to cause everyone to go madly insane, and it slowly gets increased over time. Does it sound like Earth right now, guys?
Bo Burnham recently talked about this in his special Inside.
Was it
I
Inside
want
of
to check
Bo
that out,
Burnham?
by the way. I've heard a lot of good things.
Oh, it's incredible. He does
I need to watch it.
such a good job.
Yeah, me too. Where is that?
It's on Netflix. He
On the
filmed it
Flixnet.
during the pandemic, hence the name Inside. But he does some really cool. I mean, it's kind of like a musical, honestly, in his own little Bo Burnham, Weird Al Yankovic kind of feel. But he does some really awesome like exploration of like his emotions through it and struggling with like, is comedy still going to be relevant after the pandemic? It's great. It's just so well done, so well thought out. But he talks a lot about that.
It's because I mean that's everything is propaganda. If you understand it from the mindset of if propaganda is trying to just sway my opinion, everything's propaganda. Even me saying that that's propaganda is propaganda. Welcome to the rabbit hole of Tangent Town. But ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of the show. There's no more show to show. Terry McIver in the comments just popped in really fast. Ragnarok is really good. He's watched season 1.
You should watch season 2. It gets so much better.
He'll get there. As always, there could be no show without this Clark Kent doppelganger to my right, world famous journalist David Thompson, bringing the news and spicy webs. Thank you to Terry McIver hanging out in the comments with us, but more importantly for his hard work behind the scenes with guests, socials, and without him, literally our show would be shit. It'd be very Bush League, if you will. Thank you to the HWWS Web TV family for supporting us, carrying us on the network, and most importantly, thank you to you, our fans, for joining us weekly. Whether you're watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube,
or listening via Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Spreaker,
we appreciate you spending your time with us.
Please like, follow, subscribe, drop us a comment, leave a review, and give us 5 stars if you're feeling generous. It's been a long night. We appreciate all of your support. We really, really do. Thank you so much.
Yes. As always, I'm Thomas Carter Rochester.
And I'm David Thompson.
I'm Leah.
You go too.
I'm Bethanne.
Thank you for joining. You nailed it. We surprised people. It was in the show. I tried to put it in the show notes this time. I just didn't reference it. Next time. Thank you for joining Loki special episode 4 of LightsThunderAction. We'll see you all next week for all time.
Always.
We're going to awkwardly sit here and watch you guys as we go out from in broadcast. I just want you guys to know this is the post-credit scene.
Oh, it's okay.